burns right through. Your weakness is my fuel, and this time your demise is my first prize. And I've not forgotten all the pain, the wounds that cut deep, and I've followed every move you made. Now I am right here, I'm waiting, come find me. I'm everywhere, though you're blind to see. I'm boundless in the darkness, I must prevail. Survive and try, and watch me rise, create destruction, all the madness. You want it all, I'll give you all, but this time you'll bow down to me. Just fight and try, and watch me rise, create destruction, all the madness. You want it all, I'll give you all, but this time you'll bow down to me. Come to me, let me devour you, I am your God. Come to me, let me destroy you, I am your God. Come to me, let me devour you, I am your God. Come to me, let me destroy you, this time you'll bow down to me. You're breaking, I'm conquering, where is your savior now? Come to me, let me destroy you, this time you'll bow down to me. You're breaking, I'm conquering, where is your savior now? Come to me, let me destroy you, this time you'll bow down to I'm waiting, come find me, 'cause this time you'll bow down to me.
This is more than pressure. Soul, tears, this is more than effort. They try to tell me I was lesser. If all this makes diamonds, you should get your tested. But the fact is, they'll be hanging my name in the rafters. They'll be hanging my name in the rafters. Don't wanna see me when I'm active. Don't wanna see me when it's starting to rain and I still gotta go out and practice. Prove them wrong and change my life, then told the story through my pen. And they wanna ask me how. If you didn't know me then of course you wouldn't know that. We just go boom. We just go boom. We just go boom off of the hinges, boom off of the kitchen, boom off of the house. We ain't messing around, we just go boom. We just go boom. We just go boom. We just go. They try to take me out of my existence. Do you really think I'm giving up? Car broke, wallet full of dust. Still I'm gonna go until I drop. Motivation really ain't enough. Dedication really ain't enough. Affirmations really ain't enough. You better run for your silence, 'cause the worst part of the war is quiet. We just go. We just go. We just go. We just go.
makes me stronger.
농심 레드퍼스 화이팅!
농심 레드퍼스 화이팅! 대한민국 화이팅! 농심 레드퍼스 화이팅!
DK 파이팅! 디플러스 기아 화이팅!
디플러스 기아 화이팅!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK 2025 and the final day of the play-ins. Our last true taste of Rise Group Gaming, because I like to split play-ins and playoffs much like we do the Legend and the Rise Group. And I guarantee that today, even though technically only half of the teams that we have participating are Rise Group teams, this is going to be a Rise Group banger, I guarantee it. Do not worry about that. Orcs, what do you think?
I feel like Nongshim really have adopted the culture of the Rise.
They really have.
You know, I feel like we were a little bit concerned, having spent a lot of time in the Legend group, hanging out with those teams.
Yeah.
They were no strangers. You know, they immediately dove in and really got comfortable with the other teams that we've seen in the play-in. So big credit to them for
absolutely amazing
for fitting in.
It's true. Let's have a look at the bracket here. We can bring that one up on your screen and see what we are playing for. Obviously, the last spot in the playoffs. Of course, we do have two teams that have a bye once we do get to the playoffs, but KT and T1 are waiting to see who they are going to be facing off against, alongside BNK FearX, who have already got there with their 3-1 victory over Nongshim. Now, we have Nongshim versus DK. We're going to get into it. One spot remains, the final battle. As you can see, though, on the bracket that we just had up, DK 3-2 against BNK, Nongshim 3-1. So it was easier for BNK to beat Nongshim, therefore maybe we should just give DK the spot. What do you reckon?
But on the other side, we see the fact that it was 3-2. I mean, I guess Nongshim have had the better record. Sorry, D+ have had the better record than Nongshim, but Nongshim did go up. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to.
There are other arguments, such as the fact that DK have infinitely more experience against BNK FearX over the last few months on the main stage.
It's a valid one to make.
That's another one, but we'll just have to see how it does go, as D+ have had their number in their last few matchups. It has been a while since they've faced off, though. Of course, it was actually quite surprising because Nongshim were never really able to beat D+, and yet they were able to promote to the Legend group over the top of them because D+ decided to lose some games against some really weird teams. Okay, Lawmaster's cold assessment before Nongshim. Against Nongshim, we have to hold even in top, mid, and support. If we don't crack, I don't think we slip and we can win. Well, we'll just have to see whether Beryl is going to be right, and I think he needs to hold himself to that standard more than probably anyone else on his team at this point in time. Let's have a look at the predictions. I assume, yeah, fair bit of DK.
Oh, that's a lot of D+. And I imagine The Korean
Is Jonah
side,
Strong gonna do like a weird 3-0 Nongshim or something?
I mean, it could be.
Oh, go. And
You called it.
I knew it. It was... Jonas, you're getting predictable, my friend. You are getting predictable. As Coco also there with the 3-1 prediction.
It's a sprinkling, but I feel like, you know, we saw this in the matchup between Bro and D+. The Korean side, we're leaning more towards D+, and I feel like the global side now leaning that way as well.
Yep. Well, now it is time to hear from the coaches to see what they have prepared.
안녕하세요. 저는 농심 레드포스에서 이제 감독직을 맡고 있는 첼리 박승진이라고 합니다. 최종전까지 오게 돼가지고 좀 많이 아쉬운 것 같고요. 기왕 오게 된 김에 저희가 뚫고 플레이오프 다시 이제 진출하는 모습 보여드리도록 하겠습니다. 아무래도 레전드 그룹에서 이제 12연패하는 과정에서 저희가 좀 이기는 법을 까먹은 게 아닌가 좀 그런 생각이 들 정도로 경기력적인 부분에서 좀 많이 흔들렸던 것 같아가지고 그런 부분이 좀 가장 많이 아쉬운 것 같습니다. 어느 정도 뱀픽적인 조커픽들이나 이런 것들은 좀 어느 정도 노출이 됐다고 생각하고 어느 정도 예상해가는 부분이 있다고 생각해서 좀 예상대로 진행되지 않을까 싶긴 합니다. 정글 대결이 제일 중요할 것 같고요. 정글이 폼이 좋다면 조금 저희가 쉽게 이기지 않을까 그렇게도 생각하고 있습니다. 여기서 이제 떨어지게 된다면 이제 용두 3위로 좀 마무리하는 시즌이 될 것 같아서 좀 많이 아쉬울 것 같아서 오늘 꼭 이겨서 플레이오프 진출 해보도록 하겠습니다. 농심 레드포스 화이팅!
안녕하세요. 디플러스 기아 감독 변기 배성우입니다. 최종전이니만큼 그래도 꼭 올라가야 된다고 생각하고 있고 최선을 다하겠습니다. 아쉬웠던 건 아무래도 첫 경기에 BFX랑 했을 때 좀 더 좋은 뱀픽과 경기력을 보여드렸으면 그래도 좀 더 좋았을 것 같은데 그러지 못한 게 아쉬웠던 것 같습니다. 저희가 레드에서 시작하는 만큼 조금 더 생각할 게 많다고 생각하고 있습니다. 농심에서는 탑 서폿이 조금 베테랑 선수고 잘하는 선수다 보니까 그쪽이 중요할 것 같습니다. 디플러스 기아에서는 일단 미드 정글 쪽에서 조금 그래도 포인트를 내줄 거라고 생각하고 있습니다. 오늘 반드시 농심 이기고 꼭 올라가도록 하겠습니다. 디플러스 기아 화이팅!
Very interesting. One thing stood out to me, Ox, and that was when Chelly was talking about whether or not their jungle was going to perform. He said it's going to be an easy win if Gideon has it together.
Yeah.
And that may have been something that was holding them back in their previous match.
Yep, I think that was the biggest gap for me when Nongshim went up against BNK Firax, Raptor getting POM for that match and having a fantastic turn of form. And I think Gideon has really struggled. He was having a pretty fantastic performance back in round 2.
Yep.
But I mean, obviously everyone in Nongshim was struggling in the Legend group, but he just hasn't returned to form. And they need that now more than ever because Lucid has really returned to form. He's having some fantastic performances. And I think that is where I'm seeing a pretty big mismatch. And jungle's just so important in the current meta. It's kind of like if you get a jungle gap, you get your Sundered Sky first, that is game winning.
Yeah, that's exactly right. One thing stood out to me in the walkouts after Lehens and Beryl did a bit of a fist bump. I swear I saw Lehens roll his eyes. I swear I saw that.
Maybe you're reading into things.
I hope I am, but it adds to the drama nonetheless. Let's have a look at our key player matchup. It's going to be the mid lane as Calyx versus Showmaker. Two players that I feel have been on the rise in both the champion and where they're going, and I guess, one
Showmaker has been in the rise.
Yeah, he's been in
Calyx
rise,
in the
on the rise, playing rise.
Yeah.
Whereas Calyx has only been on the rise and playing rise.
Yeah, I mean, typically, you know, in many years, a rookie player going up against Showmaker is a big ask, but I think Calyx has shown that he can hang with some of the big names in the league, so it's not a matchup I'm massively worried about for Nongshim, but obviously Calyx needs to come in and be a strong point for this team. I think the solo lanes for Nongshim have been performing pretty well, but D+ as well. She had a pretty good performance in their series so far on play-ins. Showmaker bringing out some interesting picks like the Viego, the Mel, and the LeBlanc. So we'll see if he has some spicy ones as well. That's when the strongest point we've seen from D+ throughout the year was in the LCK Cup, and it was when they were bringing out some interesting picks. We've seen a little bit of a return to that in these best of fives in play-ins.
Yeah, he's played the Viego, he played the LeBlanc, he's played the Mel. It has been interesting. A couple of those didn't actually find success, but I think if they can find compositions that actually work with it, it can actually be very strong.
It's nice to see them trying, because I feel we had this long stretch where they were just playing very vanilla compositions, and that experimentation, because even in the LCK Cup, they tried some stuff that didn't work. We all remember the Kled mid, but it's nice to see them willing to branch out a bit, especially when it comes to those fearless best of fives. And it is so important to have some depth, which we know these players, and especially Showmaker, have in their pools.
Yeah, and the thing that I really liked about what Bengi was talking about as well was the fact that he wasn't blaming play. He was talking about the fact that the draft needed to be sorted out, having better plans moving into the game, and it shows that they've got things that they can work through moving into this best of five, and then potentially the playoffs as well. We have to remember, a Worlds without DK is not one that we've seen for many years.
I mean, this is just such a cool matchup because you have a team who was the top of the Rise group, who has always gone to Worlds, against a team who is the bottom of the Legend group, who has never made it to Worlds. So complete opposites in that regard, and this is the final chance. You know, this is the final match of the play-in stage. You either have your chances to continue on, you go to playoffs, you get the last spot there, or your year is done.
It is. Let's see who's going to be able to take it here, as Nongshim do have the blue side. We've seen the D+ have very much enjoyed their time on the blue side thus far, and it hasn't necessarily been all that many red side victories for this squad. I will need to double check just to make sure I know exactly what the win rate is kind of looking like. Haven't actually gotten blue side all that many times, but certainly have lost far more games on the red side so far in the play-ins. But we do see the Trundle taken away. Actually, very good safety means that Nongshim cannot first pick Trundle. And that feels fantastic. They can first pick a tank though, which I imagine she was going to be happy about, because then he doesn't have to pick a tank.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like first picking tanks probably something we see a little bit later in the draft, and it's also something to talk about as well. What sort of things you leave open with it being fearless. I feel like the first draft,
love that,
more willing to leave things available. We've seen often, especially in best of threes, the pay or the AYP, you know, the Azir, the Yunara, the Pantheon, often being banned in game 1 and game 2, even in game 3. But I think in fearless situations like this, you know, Azir, Galio, Yunara and Pantheon, one of them likely to get through, and I think that's okay to sort of let one of them go through. It's then banned for the rest of the series. If D+ end up on red side more, I mean, they're going to have side selection less than Nongshim, as they obviously start the series without it. Takes away some of the pressure having to ban those throughout the series. With Wukong banned away though, that kind of puts pressure on them to ban away. It's difficult because you ban the Yunara because Wukong's not available to match into that.
Yeah.
But then if you leave Pantheon open, I guess you take Xin Zhao into it.
Jarvan has actually felt kind of okay into the Pantheon, but I do expect that that will be that first pick opportunity here for Nongshim, unless they want the Rumble. And this is Kingin that we're talking about, right? So that is actually worth a question. However, they will lock in the Pantheon.
We've also seen what was quite popular was like this Gwen, Xin Zhao, Orianna top side, but Gwen did get some nerfs, so maybe you're not as keen on that. But I think like the Orianna, Xin Zhao, very popular as well. Orianna, Jarvan, also popular. So maybe a look towards that could be a thing. We've often seen Orianna banned away a moderate amount, I feel like, in the play-ins. So looks like they will put some priority towards that Orianna. You don't necessarily have to take the jungler here, though, obviously with the Pantheon taken away. So if you want to kind of keep your cards close to your chest, you could just take the jungler. They do go for the Jarvan. They don't want to commit to the top laner yet. And they will let Nongshim show their cards, confident that Shu can match on that third pick with whatever Nongshim commit to here.
Yeah, I think opting into counterpick rather than getting a strong blind, such as the Rumble, like we were discussing earlier on, does put a little bit of pressure here on Kingin to make sure that his matchup is going to be okay, because there's always the looming Aurora pick that can shut down a lot of these options. But instead, Nongshim going to take a different tack, as the Nico is locked away. I wouldn't even mind it if they just locked Corki and just said, we've got arguably the strongest bottom lane on the patch, and we are just going to win through there. And that's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, I also love the Corki specifically into the Jarvan, you know, just because Cataclysm, limited impact into that pick, ensuring you have that long-range carry who... I think Corki's just been so good, as you can slot into almost any composition, into any bot lane duo, can work very well. So grabbing that early on, and obviously it means you don't have a mid to match the Orianna, you haven't picked up a top laner yet, but you know, there's only so many bans D+ can do before the next rotation. Securing your bot lane, D+ feeling pretty good about that. The Rumble does come through, so you know, this team fighting power already from D+, so much engaged potential, so much follow-up with the Rumble Equalizer with the Orianna Shockwave. But that Corki, not the easiest target to stick onto. And now, D+ can ban away some of the picks that do well into the Rumble. The Ornn gets taken away. Likely going to see the Aurora as well.
Yeah, I can imagine like Ornn Aurora is what you get rid of. Gwen doesn't have as bad a time into the Rumble as a lot of other matchups, but I think still kind of gets cooked up there, so not going to be something that we're likely to see. The Alistar going to be taken away from Beryl. Does give them a lot of power, I guess, but I don't know whether you want to be playing Alistar into this lane.
Yeah, it's a rough lane, but I think just like the synergy with the Orianna is something they're respecting.
Maybe Rel has to be banned away on that line of thinking as well.
Yeah, I think Rakan is also good. I mean, I think Rel has just been such a good default for a lot of teams that they're willing to go for. I mean, maybe you give a ban towards AD carries instead if you think there's enough engage options for the support that you kind of like picking and choosing, like do we want to ban Rel, do we want to ban Rakan? You just end up putting a ban towards the AD carries instead. Maybe something like Jhin could be a good ban in this situation. Able to follow up on that engage with the ult from a distance.
Yep.
And yeah, they take that one away.
As a anti-aiming Jhin enthusiast, I'm actually quite happy as a DK enjoyer that this Jhin has been banned away. Let's see what he does decide to do. They can kind of go crazy here, like you could try to bully the lane with something like a Caitlyn. You can still outrange Corki, especially for the first 5 levels. But we will see what they do decide to go with. Sivir Karma is still there as an option, and then you use Jarvan for engage, and so they are going to lock away the Karma to start this one off, aiming, still holding his pick close to his chest.
I think, you know, of all the players, all the supports in the league, I think Karma's been one of the favorites for Beryl. So looking at that Sivir Karma, which obviously is a good lane matchup into the Nico, and then the Akali comes out, which is a bit of a bold one.
It is technically one of these picks that I imagine the coaches have in their notebook good into Orianna.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether it's necessarily going to fit this composition all that well. We kind of knew that the Ambessa was going to come in as well. Does give them a lot of 1-3-1 side lane power here on Nongshim's side, but it makes their team fight kind of weird.
I mean, it's very dive-focused composition. You have multiple threats, you have to approach from multiple sides, and it's going to be tricky, I feel like, for Showmaker to play on the Orianna, but I think if you fall behind, it's going to be very hard, and it also means that D+K kind of feel a little bit better about taking that Karma first and leaving the AD carry pick, because they decide, you know, even though Sivir has a spell shield, they'd much rather have the Ezreal who has that arcane shift in this situation, that extra mobility going to give them that extra level of safety, because they don't need like the hyper carry level of DPS from the Sivir, they just need an AD carry who's going to survive.
They also now have one that spikes alongside the Corki relatively well. Obviously, Corki's just kind of busted at this point in time, but you hit 2 items at the same time, they're the same items. So you're kind of feeling all right, especially if you can get an accelerated situation in that lane. And Karma Ezreal can actually stand up to the Corki Nico. We've seen that one work out in the past. So looking forward to seeing how this DK bottom lane is going to go. A lot of reliance in this draft on Lucid getting the engages to work out, and we'll see whether they can actually find those angles, because if that happens, equalizers, shockwaves, true shot barrage, all sorts of things will rip through Nongshim, but they do need to get their ducks in a row, and it's been a struggle for DK.
Honestly, I feel like now, with how the draft has played out, the Jarvan feels a little bit awkward, because who are you actually going to Cataclysm? Who are you actually going to be able to Cataclysm, and they're actually locked into it? It's like the Nico? Is it Pantheon, which doesn't feel that good.
Just don't walk to the edge.
Because he has like he has the shield, right, that blocks damage. So I feel like you're going to have to be playing a bit more of a peel role for your Orianna in a lot of situations, but still can engage if someone's isolated. We'll see how it plays out.
Yep, you can also try and put the Nico in a cage, but let's see what happens as we get into the Rift.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 1 of this best of 5, the last of the play-ins, and the last of the Rise-vibed games. I think unless we get, like, and we will, I think we'll get one more Rise-vibed game, like KT's waiting, and let's be honest.
There's also, we got Rise teams in the playoffs, you know? Big
well, yeah.
already there.
I'm saying that, like, I feel like, so a Legend Group game still involved Nongshim versus T1 or Gen.G, for example, and they still felt like Legend games because that was the Legend team.
I know, but I'm saying, like,
obliterating.
let's say D+ go up to playoffs and they play against
KT, then we're fine.
Yeah,
I reckon. Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Because even like sometimes if we get a battle of the Legend vibes against the
and there's a
Rise
lower
vibes,
bracket.
Yeah.
So maybe the lower bracket will have a few Rise vibed cultural matchups that we still get to enjoy.
That we can look forward to.
Just we're holding on to it. We're holding on to it. Maybe Worlds can have a bit of that Rise group flavor. I don't know. We're looking a bit further into the future here. But let's have a look at what's going to happen here in these lanes. Aiming and Beryl are pretty practiced on the Karma Ezreal. The amount of being practiced that Beryl has been, though, hasn't often dictated how his performance is going to go. So we'll just have to see how this one is going. So far, so good, as it did manage to land the first Mantra Q.
Yep, Lan's getting some good poke back, though. It's not a fun lane for the Nico. This is one of the things, is that Nico obviously provides that engage that often pro teams love so much, but and you often have that ranged harass, so it's why she's been such a strong pick, because you play her into something like Alistar, you provide that team fight engage, you also just bully the Alistar out of lane, but when you're played against a pick like Karma, yeah, you don't win the ranged fight there. She really can just harass you out. She has the shields to avoid your poke. It's very hard to ever land a root in the Karma if she's playing well.
Yep.
You can use a shield to dodge away, use that movement speed.
You can also use the Mantra W to get all of your health back as well, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's one of the things with Karma. So the Mantra W in all-ins heals so much, and it often was punished by Ignite.
Yep.
But the thing is, no one runs Ignite in lane anymore, in pro.
We don't even have Unsealed Spellbook, so they will just never have it. As Tempo Heal going to be employed here. Gio also going to be using the barrier, aiming, holding onto that one. Oh dear. That's not a lot of Karma victories.
You know what?
Beryl did lose his first game on this champion in that loss streak, as Calyx might just be dead. Showmaker holds onto his flash, says you can live, but just know that this is my lane.
Yeah, rough time for Calyx, and I feel like a lot of lanes for champions like Akali, you are treading a line of like, you're not having a fun time. You're getting bullied out, you're getting harassed. Speaking of bullied out.
Yeah, Beryl in a bit of trouble here. Still aiming, offering a lot of damage back, and Gio doesn't have a lot of the blue stuff to try and fight this one. Aiming continuously, getting these Inspire shields as Gideon looking for an angle towards Showmaker. The flash does come on through for the backflip, landed! And it's first blood over to Gideon! And Shelly kind of starting to get his wish.
Yep, huge gank there, huge timing from Gideon, managed to get the flash done. Not much you can do to outplay that with the point-and-click nature of it.
Oh, Tangle Gloves comes down as well, as Aiming could be in a lot of trouble. Has to use the barrier to avoid dying to a blooming burst.
Yeah, a lot of action coming out already, so much trading, and the point I was making about the Akalis, you kind of have to weather the storm in the early lane, just trying to sustain up with second wind, with Doran Shield. Obviously, Calyx took a bit too much damage, gets punished. But the gang setup helps him out so much in this situation. And now actually able to get some good trades back on a Showmaker.
Yeah.
You get level 6 first as well. It's so bad for the Orianna. Once the Shuriken hits, you're just dead. There's nothing you can do here. I actually think the right call would have been to hold the flash from Showmaker. Hard to fault him, really, for trying to flash away, but I think if you just held it, would have been in a much better position, because now flashless.
Yeah.
At level 6, you might end up just dying to maybe a gank from Hens, another gank from Gideon.
Maybe an all-in from Calyx as well, depending on whether he can find an angle.
Yeah, I think it's hindsighty to call it out, but you know, that's kind of our job as casters, holding the flash.
Yep.
Could have put him in a better spot.
Or flashing earlier, theoretically, but you never really know. Probably still just able to get
I think
regardless.
The Panth would have still got to you, and with the Shuriken already on, you kind of just... Maybe flashing the Shuriken actually would have been the call.
Ooh, you can see Aiming continuing to go aggressive here as Beryl puts Gio on a leash, does get the Valkyrie out, so that's a lot of mana that he's forced to use. Does have his tier now put together, but Aiming has a cheeky extra longsword, and you can see the Ezreal feeling pretty good as a result of all of this movement. Level 6 now gained for Calyx, and he's beginning that all in. Finds a backflip, and there it is! The perfect execution comes down, but it's a 1-for-1 in the end. That's a kill back over to Lucid, though, so Calyx still going to have a fair bit of control in this lane, even if it's not necessarily dictated by the money. Beryl now going to be just trying to keep Lehens down. It's working out so far, but man, this game so far just feels ruthless.
Yeah, absolute bloodbath, you know. 2 for 1 in kills at 6 minutes, pretty action-packed, but it's just the trading has been non-stop in this game so far. Speaking of which...
Yeah, there's the public execution now as Kingen doing a fair bit of work towards Jiu. We have a Pantheon coming down as well, so Jiu knows that he's dead. And he's just going to try and wander his way out. Flash, oh my god, that was so cute! I don't think it's going to work, but man, that was cute. He bought so much time. Look at all that time that he bought with that flash. Don't tell me what the hindsight would say, okay? Don't tell me about it.
Well, what I was going to say is you actually saw Lucid running down through the jungle, and I think he was just trying to buy as much time as possible, but Lucid kind of saw the situation and started to turn away and head towards mid, realized...
Bit of a nice try, buddy type situation.
Yeah, I'm not going to be there in time. Here's the solo kill, and I'm going to be honest, for D+, getting the counter kill from Lucid is about as good as you can hope from this situation, but this is seeing the impact. The level 6 hit first, the no flash from Showmaker, and Calyx plays it perfectly, hits everything.
Yeah.
But the fact Lucid was there, I think you can't really ask for more given the situation that came from that initial play from Calyx. But here, yeah, you can see on the minimap, Lucid's running over, but he's just a bit too far away, which is the hindsight in this situation.
Yeah.
And Lucid's like, you know what, buddy? You're on your own.
Yeah.
Starts walking towards the Scuttle Crab.
He's like, are you okay, bot? And he's like, no. And he's like, all right. Goes to the Scuttle Crab. That's probably how it goes. Despite everything, aiming is so far ahead that DK is still up in gold, or even.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're getting a lot of heavy trades, and Nongshim were doing their best to mitigate it, but this Ezreal Karma, hard to play into. The Nico getting really punished, and it's a sizable lead, and I think especially when you're playing 280 carries who build the same initial 2 items, it feels really bad to be behind the curve. You know, because when there's that Triforce Mirror Mana coming out from aiming and you don't have that in return, it's going to feel very underwhelming for Jiwoo.
It's also like, it's 28 CS. It's massive numbers.
It's sizable.
Because like, having a look down the line, right? Like he's a wave behind his jungler, theoretically, as far as those numbers are concerned.
Yeah.
And that is not necessarily what you want to see, as Lehens going to try and be a bit sneaky here. Count your minions, ladies and gentlemen. And the answer is they don't need to because they're not there. Grub's going to be taken here by DK. No one having a look at the Dragon just yet. Chemtech still just hanging around, been there for almost 4 minutes. Another public execution coming on down here as we're kind of getting sick of those. As the Equalizer just says, well, no, I would just prefer not to be laning at this point in time. And so that should mean that Gideon can go over towards the Drake. No Equalizer for DK to contest will make things a little bit more difficult, especially when the solo lanes are not where the power is.
Yeah, you saw from how Nongshim were posturing, they were maybe looking to set up a dive or something. Calyx was waiting around, Gideon was nearby, but I think it was a good read from Shiwu, just hold the wave. Dragon's gone anyway. Chemtech Dragon being the first one, pretty valuable for Nongshim, given that it means they're not getting a Chemtech Soul. But I think D+ pretty happy with the trade. Just to go 3 grubs for the Dragon and keep this pressure up in the top lane, especially getting those 3 grubs, given you have such an advantage already in this bot 2v2. You can see it ticking away, looking at a second plate going to come in soon. That bot lane lead is going to keep expanding at this rate.
Yeah, working out very well thus far. And they've also taken a couple of plates towards the top side of the map as well. That has contributed to just how far ahead aiming is. Like, it's almost 700. There's 0-0-0, guys. Like, this lead often is represented by, like, we had a good dive that worked out in the early game, or we did XYZ. This has just been the result of a lane swap and laning phase.
And I think as well, the fact that, you know, this solo lanes for Nongshim, Kingen has a lead from that gank, but even with the pressure that Calyx has gotten, just by nature of the matchup, he's down in farm, so even though he got that gank, even though he got that solo kill, he's still actually down in gold in the matchup.
Oh, count your minions.
Showmaker.
Count your minions. As Showmaker did not count the minions.
Okay, that one's got to be a little sus. What is that minion doing? That minion just placed a control ward? I'm a little suspicious.
Yeah, I think he almost kind of had him there, but decides that he doesn't want to go for it.
You know what it is? Lehens didn't have flash. It's about to come up. I think if he had flash, he probably would have just gone for it.
Yeah, probably could have worked. As Jiu now going to get told that he's not allowed in the lane. And that is the case, and it kind of feels like it's been the case for a while. As we're going to crash this one in once again, DK going to be able to employ these grubs to take yet another plate. These Mystic Shots also finding the mark as well.
I will say, at least the Corki has a good amount of wave clear to sort of help out with this, but yeah, they're definitely in a rough spot. And Gideon now showing bot lane.
Okay, Calyx was roaming up towards the top side. He's going to spot Lucid here, as he does backflip away from him. And it may not be enough to kind of save this Nongshim bottom lane. Like you were saying, wave clear going to be there, so they do get rid of the minions. Another one conga lining through. But Lucid being patient here. Oh dear, okay, so Gio is going to spot him out. But I just don't know, does this help? Are they going to be okay? Well, there's the Cataclysm. Does manage to knock up Lehens, but it's just, yeah, just sending a message, I guess.
Yeah, they were trying to force the ult from Lehens. That was the game plan then. Get Lehens to ult, flag and drag out, force that resource, and then maybe look for something more. But Lehens holds his nerve. He just uses the heal. He kind of senses what was the attempt from Lucid's play, and they kind of mitigate that pretty well. It was always going to be a bit of a delicate dive, especially since even though the Pantheon wasn't there, his ult, actually his ult was down, so...
Oh, yeah, not gonna happen. That was what he used on the bottom side of the map.
Ah, I see. Well, I guess it wasn't as much of a concern that the Pantheon was going to ult, but
yeah.
Bit of a delicate dive, I guess, with the Pop Blossom, so they were trying to force that out. But yeah, I think the patience from the Hens not getting baited in by the Cataclysm, pretty good read on the situation.
Showmaker's done a decent job, just kind of being fine in this matchup. Now has that flashback up, so is out of the woods quite a bit. You can see Kingen still kind of ruling the lane towards the top side of the map, but we've seen in a lot of games the Nongshim haven't been able to win. Kingen's still been great.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's just really good.
I think as well, we're getting this Orianna build, the Rod of Ages into Seraphs, where...
It's not my favorite.
I mean, it's not mine, but I think specifically into this Nongshim composition, you're a bruiser. You have
just
so
being tanky.
much effective HP. And if you think about Nongshim's comp, they are all about kill thresholds. They are all about, we have this much damage to kill these targets, and once we run out of damage...
We don't have damage.
What do we do? So I think this build, even though it's a bit slow to get started compared to some others, I think it's going to do a lot of favors to D+ once they get to the point of the game where Showmaker's online. Because if Calyx uses all of his buttons and Showmaker still has 1,000 health left, the team fight's not going to be in a good spot.
Man, okay, so... I got a fun one. What if he went Rod of Ages Seraphs, Riftmaker, Liandry's? Add a bit of health to, like, everything.
Don't pitch this to Chovy. But he doesn't have Grasp, you know?
Oh, that's true. Next time, take Grasp. That being said, movement speed is king, so I'm okay with the phase rush as well. That's totally fine. As Beryl and aiming, possibly under a little bit of threat here.
Yeah, we do see that minion again, that cheeky minion turning up mid lane. Lehens keeps trying to find something on Showmaker, but he's
sometimes you just gotta put the fear in them, you know?
Yep.
As the Drake has now showed up, aiming is just slaughtering these turrets though.
Triple grub's gone a long way.
Yeah, and also Trinity Force advantage just means that this Corki does practically nothing, and aiming is feeling fantastic on this first item spike.
It's big there as well, but also Beryl has Redemption finished, which is honestly such a huge spike. We've seen how much value teams have gotten off this early Redemption, but in a skirmish, when teams just don't have that much damage, sitting on one or less than one item spikes, definitely can get a lot of value from the Redemption. So much poke already coming down.
Lucid looking for a little bit of an angle here, perhaps, but they do clear out the wave once again.
I think this level of pressure, they might be able to just start the Dragon up.
Yeah, they also do manage to get Lehens to back away, and they stop the back of Geo at the same time. This wave is going to come through, so that is going to be first turret. Going over to DK, not a whole lot that Nongshim can do about it. And Lucid going to take his opportunity to head over and grab this Dragon as well, catching them on a reset. Gideon going to be moving towards the top side to see whether or not he can maybe put pressure on this Herald. The Crab is there, but he decides instead he is once again going to try and kill this Rumble. The Equalizer gets a lot of value, but unfortunately not quite enough, as the Redemption came through exceedingly late.
Yeah, Beryl was trying to get in range for that one. Wasn't quite there in time. I think a good pickup from Gideon, just to grab that kill with the ultimate, slide in. He is pretty low now, though. And Shield doesn't have TP though, and this does go down pretty quick, so I think they should be able to get this and get out.
Yeah, they're going to do a lot of damage, yeah. Beryl is just caught napping. They did just have vision.
Yeah.
He did know.
I don't think Beryl got the memo.
What? No, he did get the memo. He got the memo. He ignored the memo.
Oh, right.
You know, because sometimes it's about which... This memo as well is, that would have been a good one for aiming to get, but the Cataclysm comes down. Kingen has to flash. Dash not quite enough there as he gets a nice little knock-up. Still, Nongshim getting a lot out of DK here. Double summoners out of the Ezreal is a huge thing because he is 900 gold in the lead, the largest in the game thus far, but that is actually starting to get eclipsed here by Gideon's advantage in the jungle. 2-0-2 now as Calix has found Shiu, and the perfect execution. If that one had landed,
that was a kill.
That backflip, that was a dead rumble. Instead, he might actually just be able to clear out this wave and be okay.
Yeah, I mean, the early R2 was used, so not as much execute damage, but was trying to set up for the Shuriken, doesn't connect. Here, this was such an easy play. The slow means Gideon takes a lot of damage on the back end, but the redemption is just so late. Unfortunately, he wasn't in range. And here, I don't know what you expected.
This is what I think. I think there was one outcome.
Yeah. Well, we got it.
Yep.
And I think Nongshim, considering there was a lot of pressure, but first tower was picked up by D+, they got the dragon. It felt like the pressure from D+ was used well to get the objective, but then Nongshim immediately make a play on the other side, and D+ just kind of crumble. It feels like Nongshim made a quick adaptation and get everything they really wanted on the opposite side of the map. A bit of a blunder, I feel like, from D+ there.
Yeah, has been a little bit of a strategy that the opponents of DK have been employing, and that is kind of just bully Shiu in these games. And sometimes it just does work. Sometimes he just isn't able to get very much done. And we're seeing 1-0-2 on Kingen and 2-0-2 here for the Pantheon, who is in a very good spot. And now going to get a crash onto this outer turret in the mid lane. That is going to go down very, very low as Calix is moving over. Gideon goes in, but there's the public execution. Pop Blossom connects on everyone, and down goes aiming. The equalizer is in. It's a lot of AoE, as now Shiu looking for Gio on the side, and the Cataclysm's going to lock him up. Now Lucid trying to get himself out of there. Shiu is just a monster, and he burns King into the ground. That one felt personal, ladies and gentlemen, as DK fight back.
DK with a huge fight turnaround. Calix going to try and defend here.
Yep, spooky fog on the ground. And is going to be able to just clear out the wave. Very nicely done. So they're not going to be able to take a turret, but still, DK showing that they're not out of the fight and actually claim a gold lead.
Yeah, they end up using so many tools. They catch aiming, but take so much damage in the region. It's a huge Pop Blossom. It looks fantastic, but then the equalizer gets so much damage.
And the shockwave hit 4.
It was massive. This combo from the solo laners of D+ doing so much damage, and there's no more gas in the tank. They kill the AD carry, but they didn't have any more tools to finish off the rest of the targets, and they just start moving forwards, taking down more and more. Showmaker, it was kind of that thing we were talking about before.
Yep.
With these items he has.
I saw his health bar. I'm like, if he didn't have those items, he would be dead.
Yeah, but he has that extra HP available, and there just wasn't a threat to finish him off. In fact, he walked forwards, and he was kind of like, I want more kills, so I'm going to run past like the target in front of me to try and soak more, and like Pantheon stunned him, and he just didn't care.
It's looking pretty scary here for Nongshim. However,
it's still so close.
They also have more than 0 petals, which is better than the last game yesterday, where we did get the unprecedented 33-0.
I wonder if that's something, as a coach, you say to your players, you're like, guys,
don't get infinite % petaled.
Yeah,
please.
They're
just
good.
Pick a flower or two. And as we saw just there, Showmaker just did.
You know what's the thing? Is that the more petals you have, the less they're worth, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
They actually go down. So when you have 0, the big petals, maximum value. Like the big flowers.
Yeah.
And I just can't believe that they'll have seen one and just ignored it. Mind-blowing to me.
No, it's kind of offensive is what it sort of feels.
It hurts me personally, as the sort of person who will
I mean, you get upset about Cinders not being picked up.
Yes, I'll see like 3 Cinders. There'll be a team fight happening. I'll be like, there's like 4 Cinders over there, you know?
Yeah.
They speed.
Why are you fighting? Well, Kingen going to face check here, as he's not necessarily one to be too worried about the job. And however, Beryl is going to put him on a leash. And even with all the shields, he's still going to go down. Gideon going to be put into the Cataclysm as well. And one after the other, Nongshim are falling apart.
And this is kind of what happens when Nongshim don't get that clean engage. 2 members just caught out by D+.
Calyx is doing some good farming in the top lane though.
He is, but not there for the fight, not coordinating. The second dragon picked up for D+, and now building up a bit of a goldie. They should just be able to take the Arakan here as well.
Oh man, that's feats of strength first up, and then the Arakan to follow immediately afterwards.
For a game that was so close, now it feels like they're just consolidating all these advantages. And suddenly it's a big swing in favor of D+.
The insane thing is that Shiyu has a gold lead.
There's a tower right there.
And the Arakan is now gone, and there's a tower, and they're teleporting it. Well, the Hens was on the flank. But he's not anymore. Pop Blossom is going to connect onto Lucid. Let's see whether that is going to be able to do anything, and the answer is no, as aiming kind of a one-man wrecking crew right now as Kingen behind the turret, but that was desperation, and I don't know what they were trying to achieve.
I think if the tower was down, I could see that being like, let's get them on the exit, finish them off. But the tower wasn't down, and that just completely changes the dynamic of that play, and you said it yourself, it felt desperate. This was just King overextended. Gideon, you know, we talked about who would you Cataclysm in this team comp, and yeah, it's the Pantheon. No way to get out. A lot of other mobile targets with Pantheon, he's just kind of trapped in there. And then the play afterwards just very weird, because the tower was there for them to retreat to, and there wasn't really any way to kind of keep them locked into the fight. Yeah. And now D+, it's only a 1,600 gold lead, but they got the Arakan, they got the feats of strength, they got such a big advantage from that last fight. And now you look at some of the items coming through. We have that spike from aiming. We have a Seeker's Arm Guard, level 16 from Showmaker.
16.
He's 2 levels up from Calyx because you got the Rod of Ages coming through.
Not to mention 25-6 in the pedal value.
Oh man.
It's kind of ridiculous. And yeah, Showmaker can now just hang out in this side lane. He's not even worried about the Akali assassinating him because he's got an Arm Guard, so much health, and isn't too worried. Even aiming's health bar is looking kind of intimidating here, but still has yet to finish off his third item. Going to be wandering towards Gio and Lahens here for now. True shot barrage. That's a lot of damage. And now Lucid thinks that it's possibly his opportunity. And this is just the turret going down. 3 grubs going to make sure that that is going to happen as Gio, he got the memo. He was standing so far back, but still the public execution going to come on through. Gideon takes a lot of damage as Shiyu didn't have an arm gun. He's not dead! And Showmaker's able to turn up, and the barrel redemption! As he lands it this time to pick up the kill.
That one wasn't too late. Shivu survives. Showmaker comes in. Beryl comes in with the clutch redemption. And Nongshim, when that play fails, it feels so bad. Trying to make something happen, trying to find any angle back in. And it's just more gold for D+ now. Aiming, looking for Jiwoo.
Yeah, it gets sped up. If
damage.
That's a lot. Jude just gonna have to walk away. This inner turret now under fire, and this game it just feels over. The tempo vibe's overwhelming here on the DK side.
Absolutely are.
And I think as soon as that play doesn't work against you, I think you're packing it up.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, they had to overextend so far from him. He was playing so far back, made the right call.
This is not something that you would have done in the earlier weeks, right?
Yeah.
And him being able to play that defensively and understand where his safety limit was, that's very impressive. Also, the character development of Beryl,
I love
being able to snipe with a redemption.
I love the fact that Showmaker definitely could have gotten that kill.
Oh, yeah.
But Beryl, he knew he deserved that kill.
He did. I need to petition to change the name of the item, though, because redemption just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it does sound a little...
Feels a bit wrong.
Is there another word for redemption?
No.
There
probably is. I mean, I could open a thesaurus. Let's thesaurus this out. See what see if I can get some redemption for the redemption.
Yeah, you do need some redemption on this.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of people in chat telling me that there's a lot of words that I should be using instead of redemption.
It's different. I honestly, off the top of my head, can't think of any.
Yeah. All right, we're bringing it up. Saving Vindication.
Oh,
That's perfect.
that would have been so good.
Oh no.
Oh, we've missed a mark there.
Yeah, they're also saying repurchase. However, it's the wrong version of the redemption, because if you redeem something, like redeem a code, for example, in the Riot store to get yourself a new emote, perhaps you can redeem.
Beryl knows a lot about that sort of redemption, I'll tell you that much. But
Absolution kind of works as well, but it's not really the same word.
Yeah.
Save, I think, is technically it. I think Vindication is kind of the only one.
Vindication spawn. I think, you know, once you said that, we didn't need to go further, but
I think I'm just gonna go with Redemption. I think I'm okay with locking it in.
I think Vindication is the one for me, but their Dragon Fight being set up. Calyx being zoned out a bit here.
Lahens is a lonely minion.
What's that minion doing there?
Well, getting some wards down by the looks of things is Jiu. Oh man, True Shot Barrage gonna be avoided there, but the Valkyrie is going to be used. Beryl going to take the Akali for a walk. Is aiming now going to find him. My god, the damage. He goes golden as Lahens feels like he may have found the angle. We'll see whether he has as Calyx goes into the Shroud. Perfect execution to take down aiming as Calyx gets back to the Shroud and then just gets unceremoniously burnt to death by Shiu on the drive-by. Beryl also somehow surviving, and you know things are going wrong when Beryl is unable to die in a fight. As now Kingen trying to dash his way out. That's a decent stun though, as the equalizer comes through, but not really doing too much. As Shiu gonna have to flash to get out of the way of Kingen, and Showmaker, the raid boss himself, is going to show up, and Shiu does not stand a chance. And at this point, they're just kind of making fools of them.
I think Nongshim played that fight so wrong. I think they had such a rough read on what to do, because I think it was honestly winnable. Showmaker just stood in the middle, and if you actually look how it played out, they spent too much time chasing low HP targets. So Calyx, Beryl walks in kind of like a psycho on this Akali. It's a good setup from Lahens that punishes aiming, and they kill the AD carry. But you kind of look at the gist of how things play out, because Beryl ends up low. They initially go to him, and then it kind of feels like they're just chasing Beryl this whole time. Like, Kingen's kind of running towards Beryl. Showmaker's just doing his own thing. Kingen feels like he's kind of chasing towards him. Jiu, again, feels like he's kind of chasing towards him. And I feel like they should have just focused on the targets. Again, Jiu is flashing for Lucid.
Oh, no.
Just, you need to kill the targets who are relevant. You're flashing for Lucid when he's out of the fight. And it just feels like so much focus was a bit too much on killing the low health targets instead of dealing with the ones who are still relevant in the fight. And you end up in a scenario where everyone is low HP and you lose the fight, rather than just, you know, dealing with the threats who are still there.
Yeah, get the control of the map that's given to you. Don't try to force the 300 gold.
I think they were so worried about people being low HP and getting away that everyone ended up low HP and getting away.
Yeah. And it was good aggro control on the other side for DK, you know, understanding, oh, I'm the target now, get me the heck out of there, you know? As now DK looking for another engage angle as Lahens is going to find the Pop Blossom, but the Cataclysm going to hold him in place. And aiming does get assassinated once again. And Shiu trying to do what he can as well on the other side. Nongshim actually finding a lot of power here as Lucid and Showmaker, the sort of last bastion of hope on the DK side. And fortunately for DK, that is going to be enough for them to still take control. However, 3 for 2. You'll take those if you're Nongshim.
Absolutely. I'll say, though, the existence of Showmaker is just such a problem for Nongshim. We see Calyx getting a ton of value here. The engage is great onto aiming, but they're not able to immediately take him out. But Calyx finds this angle, deletes the Ezreal, then follows up and takes out Beryl. 2 quick kills as the Rumble gets taken out. But Showmaker, so tanky, so hard to deal with. Constant rotations of abilities. He is the problem right now. If Showmaker didn't exist, I think Nongshim could clean up pretty comfortably. With this Orianna is wreaking havoc and is about to hit a Rabadon's as well.
Oh my goodness, that is going to be a lot of damage. And now he just gets to hang out with Lucid as well. And so whoever Lucid Cataclysms, it's not just, oh, but I have an escape to get out. You try and Valkyrie, the Shockwave will still pull you back.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see what DK can do. It looks like the Baron is going to be on the minds of them for now. 2.5 minutes on the Ocean Soul as well. And if you thought the DK members were getting away with low health, well, now they're going to get away with low health and then be on high health immediately afterwards.
Oh, man. I mean, Ocean Soul obviously not looked at as the strongest soul, but in a game like this where you are very bursty, it's going to make things really difficult. If you don't finish off those targets, the value you'll get over the course of the fight can be massive. It means that you have to be so crisp for Nongshim, even more so than you already had to be with this deficit, with how your comp plays out.
And man, I want to, okay, Lucid is going to take a Tangle Barb series. Pretty tanky, but not that tanky. Down to 50% at this point in time. Nongshim getting some decent damage onto the jungler is going to be important. Tangle Barb's barely missing onto aiming here as Grand Starfall comes in. Gideon pretty far ahead of his team, but they have the public execution. Aiming flashes away though. He's got the shielding and it's the two-man shockwave here as well to keep Nongshim at bay. Lucid now looking for that angle, finds an equalizer from downtown. Jiu has one of his own. He gets to throw out, and that is going to get them to safety. DK still on the prowl, though, looking for an opportunity as Beryl going to take Lehens for a walk. Does get the snare, and now aiming able to follow up really nicely still. Lucid goes way too far forward.
Oh, the Akali's on the flank.
Yeah. So there's a few buttons on cooldown, I guess. But the perfect execution is still there for Calyx, and they have to wait 38 seconds for Lucid to wander his way back.
Yeah, Calyx was waiting to find someone, sees it Showmaker, not interested, you know, he's just out of there. But now, TPing and seeing if maybe with the jungler down, they can set up for something.
And what I was going to talk about before there was like action, it was very rudely interrupted. You remember back to like their first best of 5 in the play-ins.
Yep.
Showmaker had 1 assist by like 20 minutes into the game, in a game that had a whole bunch of kills. This time, 100% kill contribution on this Akali.
Oh, they got him!
As I say it, he is going to get picked off. Does go into stasis here, but I don't think he's getting out. There it is. It's Gideon that locks down the kill and may have stopped the Baron because Lucid has made his way back, but still, that is a huge shutdown the Nongshim have been able to pick up. Now 12-13 is the kill score as well. The gold is under 1,000. At 32 minutes into this game.
Yeah, raid boss down at this point, with Dragon up in 10 seconds, they're resetting, getting some health back. This was a pretty ambitious angle. I think the problem here was they committed so deep and the Akali wasn't in position to follow up. The Akali's representing so much of that damage. Calyx finally gets there, the shockwave has come in, they have to back off, but I'm not sure we're going to get time to watch all this because the teams are setting up now for the Dragon.
Yep, Lehens looking for a Pop Blossom. Arcane Shift does get aiming out of dodge, but Beryl is still going to be dead. Cataclysm comes through though, and aiming is free hitting. Even the mystic shots in the Shroud are landing as aiming full health still. And Nongshim gonna have to try and limp their way out.
5 seconds on Showmaker with TP.
Yep,
and soul for D+.
And D+ are in their comfort zone. Beryl is dead. That's what they're used to. And he also managed to take Lehens with him, which is why it's okay. Showmaker is going to turn up. The teleport going to come in. Level 16 for the Ezreal at the same time. But Calyx has also teleported his way towards his bottom side. But this Ocean Soul, it's going down very, very low. Kingen trying to deal with aiming, but he's just not able to. They've got vision. Public execution just to get him out of the way of the Ezreal. As one lone Ocean Dragon is going to be picked up. Shiu goes golden as well. As the Shockwave doesn't do too much. Still Gideon taking so much damage. Aiming and Showmaker both still alive. Shiu not so much. And down they all go. Calyx is still there. Lehens has indeed respawned. But I just don't know whether Calyx can be the kind of hero they need right now. He's going to need to do something absolutely unbelievable. Disappearing is normally pretty cool, but they need a little more than that.
Yeah, unfortunately for Nongshim, with those extra deaths, it does mean D+ able to get the Baron. As you said, they just picked up a second Dragon, not really that meaningful. They deny the soul, not a big boon for them, and D+ will be able to pick up the Purple Worm and be able to get a big gold advantage, and now they'll be able to look to Siege.
And this is something that D+ were never really good at, like prioritizing as a team. And that's what they did in this split second. They're like, no, we want the kills, we want the picks, so that we can guarantee Baron. Dragon is meaningless.
Yeah.
This is just really good preparation from this team.
Yeah, here's the thing. The fact they didn't catch aiming here, didn't even have to flash. This is why they prioritized that Ezreal, able to get away from the situation. It's a trade for supports. And then here, in this ensuing fight, Kingen gets caught out, so they collapse onto him. It does mean they give up pressure on the Dragon.
My God, if that Mystic Shot had landed, maybe Kingen was just dead there.
Yeah. And what ends up happening is Nongshim like, okay, we'll trade tops, it's fine. But the stasis from Shiwu, so much value here. The flash from Lucid to redirect the Shockwave, and then the cleanup ends up coming in. Shiwu's just trying to do as much damage as he can.
It could have been worse as well. That Shockwave could have actually caught the Corki as well. He managed to get that Valkyrie to get his way out, but my goodness, it was almost like a best case scenario situation.
This feels still like such an uphill battle right now, and the sieging is going to be so hard to deal with for Nongshim with so many picks like Akali, Pantheon don't really function well defending against the siege. They really need to find an angle to engage to stop their structures just being destroyed.
Yeah, just melting. Gio has made it to 4 items somehow. As Lucid, that's a cataclysm. Lahenz is just dead. All right, that's what you do, I guess, when you finish the Rabbidan's death cap on your Orianna. You just throw your Jarvan at him.
Yeah, and Lahenz had flash. Wanted to save it. Didn't want to have to burn that powerful engage tool defensively.
Well, public execution coming on down here, but Kingen spends some time in the sky and regrets his decision. Calyx looking for an opportunity, though. As Showmaker, he is not afraid. This time going golden at the right time, and this time his team is there to defend. He will go down, but he'll take that for a Nexus trade any day of the week. As DK, it was a long one. It was a slog, but they're still able to take game number 1 in this best of 5 series up against Nongshim. Calyx, pretty heroic in this game, I have to say, but it wasn't, unfortunately, enough.
Both mid laners putting in such an effort to carry that game. At the end of the day, Showmaker was just a raid boss there, doing so much damage on this Orianna, just so hard to deal with. They took him down that one time when they managed to catch his stasis out around mid. That was like the pivotal moment where they were able to kill him in a team fight. And even that didn't really lead to much. All those other times, you're just kind of destroying the side of Nongshim, doing so much damage. And it felt like other members were dropping like flies. Calyx was getting these sick outplays, but they could just never really deal with this Orianna.
I do want to give a shout out to King, and I felt like he found so many good angles with his ulti. I don't think we saw one of them miss. Kind of looked targeted when he was playing, as aiming still able to do more damage than Showmaker in this game, as the Ezreal just kind of ridiculous. Such an impressive game, though, to be perfectly honest, on both sides. I felt like Nongshim had the right ideas in a lot of these situations. This is not a team that is about to roll over and die in this series, and I really hope that that means that we're on the path to more silver scrapes. Getting a little bit ahead of myself, though, because there's only been 1 game played thus far. It is time for us to now take a short break. When we get back, the space, gonna break that one down, then we'll have game number 2. We'll see you soon.
야야 괜찮아 더블 오케이 내 아칼리 있다? 나 봐주라 노플 나 슈네 있어 포르케 노플 이겼다 나이스 아칼리 나 궁었으니까 내가 그냥 많다 할 거래 잘하는구만 그냥 해 나한테 뭐 끌지 마
Scene start. Interior. The space. After game number 1, the gang consisting of Digon, Chronicler, and Woodid congratulate D plus Kia on a victory. Just in case you didn't know, I'm just reading the script of how best of fives go with D plus Kia, where they win yet again after a solid game here.
Man, Woodid, you've been out, or Digon rather, you've been out of LA for a while, but I guess you're still working on your screenplay, so good for you. Great first script here. Do really like that. As I think that this game literally could not be more textbook DK versus Nongshim, game 1 in the best of 5, right? And that's kind of what Digon is highlighting as well. We got drafts that I think for both teams make sense. I actually think DK really adjusting their draft priorities in a positive sense compared to where they started at the play-ins. And then we got like what looked like a clean game and very quickly became just a mess. And then DK won game 1, as they do. So I don't really feel any different. I still don't know who's going to win this series.
But I still feel great about DK because whenever they are not like kind of ahead in the early game, they always kind of like fall down after the early game. You know, they never bounce back. But in this game, I think Showmaker had some solid performance, and with Lucid, I think the playmaking was there.
Yeah, this is despite the fact, as we could see in highlight 1, an early game of Pantheon that was really going for Gideon.
Yeah, and I want to highlight the hero's journey for Showmaker here because he really got put behind early, and we've actually seen this. I think that's one of his biggest weaknesses. It's also a testament to Gideon, who I think on this Pantheon, especially early game, was way more active than we were initially expecting. Did a really good job of focusing down Chi, who ended up dying to the ganks repeatedly. But what I want to highlight specifically is that Nongshim's early game looked a lot better than I think we were expecting coming in.
Yeah. And also, I think this is the reason why we normally ban Pantheon out, because of the setup. So normally, I think if you're a jungler, you look for the ganks, but you don't really actually gank in lane, because it's really low chance that you actually get a kill. But with Pantheon, the potential of getting kills with the champion is just so high. Like, because of the skill value, it's just so simple. You just click to kill. So I think the Pantheon early game was great, especially Nongshim was having a great early game.
Yeah, they did. And although they had a lead, D+ were able to go ahead and claw their way on back. And then here at 18 minutes, this is when things got a little bit too dicey here.
Yeah, I'm going to keep repeating. We need to remove the Nico interaction where she gets to do this because it's too much mobility. That said, what the main point is this is the point in the hero's journey where Showmaker realizes I am the main character of this game. I think this is actually one of the games where you do love seeing him go for such a defensive build because the enemy team is so dive focused. And this here is a peak example. If you go a damage Orianna build, that might not work, right? Like that shockwave for me is where the game did kind of tilt back in DK's favor. And from that, they should have been able to cleanly play it out. As we all know, they won't because they're DK. But that is when we saw, I think, the team fighting power that DK should have with their composition, whereas the composition of Nongshim relies a lot more on finding backline access consistently.
Yeah, I mean, if I was Nongshim in that situation, my plan is gonna be like, okay, let's get the mid threat. They're gonna group for mid threat. So we actually split them out because we don't want to 5v5 against Orianna, Rumble, Jarvan, you know? So all we want to do is just play side lane with Pantheon, Akali. So I think we just force them to group on the mid lane and we actually just split around. I think that should be the game plan, but I think Nongshim forcing out the fight after the mid threat was kind of off.
Yeah, well, Nongshim not able to play to their game plan, and D+, as much as they got the leads here, also struggled to stick to the game plan. They almost throw here at the 4th Drake.
So funnily enough, Showmaker's antagonist in this story isn't necessarily his enemies. It's his own bot lane that tried to giga hard engage on the Kali. So aiming just dies. And I think that this is where, against the better team, DK lose the game. Because as the casters highlighted, I think Nongshim also don't play this out perfectly. They definitely had a lot more opportunities here. But there are like 3 more moments after this where I think the bot lane in particular for DK was really struggling with playing the game out in a clean manner.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is the reason why I said Showmaker had the solid performance, because like even though your bot lane kind of died in a bad situation, still Showmaker managed to win the team fight with his great positioning here. I mean, I think DK is still struggling to find out where is the setup when it comes to the objective. I don't think their positioning is good, but also Nongshim, whenever they have the early game priority, they got the full vision control with the champion with the easy setup. They have the Pantheon, but they can't really snowball well. So I'm not sure what should they approach in the draft.
Yeah, well, both teams trying to figure out how to win. They need to do so to make it on into playoffs. 1-0 to D+ after 1. Let's get into game number 2.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for that breakdown of game number 1. I think Chronicler, he hit the nail on the head. And that is, we don't know what's going to happen next. But we're not surprised with what happened just then.
Yeah, I think that was the game 1 we kind of expected. But I think as the series goes on, as more champions are removed, and really just our level of understanding is removed, I think we're just going to... We're in here for a journey.
Exactly.
So we're not always... We had this experience with the Rise. We're not always going to understand what's going on. Sometimes we're just there to take it in.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And, you know, the two of us, we've discussed outcome-focused assessment quite a lot.
Yes.
That's not Rise Group.
No.
It's not about the outcome. It's about, you know how people say that it's about the journey and not the destination?
Yep.
We don't want the destination because the destination means there's no Rise Group anymore. So we are here for the journey, ladies and gentlemen, and allow us to get our backpacks on and journey through this game number 2 as we hop into the draft. The band's going to be coming in now as the Taliyah still going to be taken away. Just to refresh your memory, was Taliyah, Trundle, Wukong, and then Azir, Galio, Yunara on the other side. See whether these bands are going to stay the same, because side selection has obviously stayed the same as Nongshim lost on the blue side, so they will stay there for another go.
Yeah, I imagine Nongshim will probably let something maybe like the Wukong go through and try and pick that up, and D+ might adjust and try and let something through themselves they'll take. So they're going to ban the Yunara earlier, and then I wonder if Nongshim just leave the Wukong and they try and first pick the Wukong in this situation, and then maybe... Yeah, so they ban the Braum. So expecting a first pick Wukong, the question is, do D+ ban the Wukong themselves here? Or do they look to counter it? They do ban the Wukong, they do take that one away.
Well, this means that the Galio's up. The problem is, or maybe it's not a problem for either side, is that the Galio is now left up and available. The Xin Zhao priority is going to skyrocket as they do take that one away. Probably the next rung as far as jungle priority is concerned.
Yep, there is the Vi open and available.
Yep.
They are just going to lock in that Rise pretty quickly for Showmaker. Obviously a pick he's comfortable on. Lucid hovering some picks. The thing is, we have seen the Zed, but it's been kind of specifically into Trundle, but he will go for the Lee Sin. And I do kind of like this combo because you have that point-and-click CC set up from the Rise. So pretty strong to be able to set up the Sonic Wave. And we'll see. I expect them to have setup on the other lanes as well. But I feel like Lee Sin and Nidalee kind of function similarly, where you want the setup from the lanes. You want to be able to provide that lockdown so you can just easily land the Sonic Wave and punish. Speaking of lockdown, Annie going to come through from Calyx. Obviously, with Rise being that mid-range sort of pick, hard to play into the Annie. You can just drop a Tibbers on your head at a moment's notice.
Whoa, the Alistair.
Early Alistair pickup. I think decent into both the Lee Sin and the Ryze. Obviously, you can disrupt the Lee Sin when he's trying to move in, make plays, and the Ryze again. He plays at a range that the Alistair, if Ryze is hitting you, he's always in combo range.
Yep, and you just, you know, it doesn't have very much mobility outside of the phase rush, so if you ever do manage to get a headbutt off, it is going to work out, as the Aurora is going to be locked in here for Xiu. And so a lot of power towards the top side of the map. You were talking about setup. I don't know whether Aurora is necessarily set up, but she has a lot of chase down if you do get your Lee Sin up there in a good position. So I think DK feeling all right about where the draft is at the moment. Pretty squishy. Looking forward to seeing what Beryl's going to play. I think probably going to be something on the more tanky side, unless everything is banned away. Looking at things like the Rel, things like the Nautilus that he has been gravitating towards.
Yeah. Interested to see what Kingen would play into the Aurora. Do start off with banning away some of those range top laners, with the Jace being taken away, which you've seen some bans when Aurora's been picked up, because I feel like every melee top laner into Aurora is just not a fun time.
Yeah.
Is generally been the trend. Poppy ban going to come through from Nongshim. I think Rel's been such a popular one, but obviously the matchup into Alistair isn't one that people enjoy the most. So interested to see what Beryl looks to prioritize in that matchup. I do think Rakan would make that comp very squishy. Kai'Sa going to get taken away from Jiwoo here.
So without the Kai'Sa, now probably looking at something like a Sivir. Wanting to get your hands on something like that could be an option here.
I think
for Nongshim.
Jin also okay. It's a pretty squishy comp from D+. There's no one really who wants to tank those ult bullets. It is going to be the Rel ban away coming out here.
Just playing Nautilus there, Beryl. Might be what he's looking for. Might also just save that pick until last, or pick up the Rakan. As he was saying, it's going to make them very, very squishy, but they have massive amounts of damage, and especially in AoE. Quickness plus Aurora means a lot of people die, because you walk closer to one area, and she'd do damage big in one area.
I feel like with the picks D+ have, I think Jin makes complete sense here. You already have so much setup from Nongshim. Jin can just sit at such a safe distance and just completely decimates anyone on the side of D+. You have so much burst damage available. I think it'd be the pick that makes most sense to me. Once you pop that ultimate, there's no one really who wants to tank it on the side of D+. Instead of opting for the Sivir, yeah, I'm not as convinced. I think Sivir benefits when there's a lot of targets that kind of spread the ricochets. I don't think you need the DPS in this sort of situation into this composition that D+ have.
Ooh,
the spell shield is decent value though. Yorick going to come through for Kingen into the Aura. Got that side lane pressure that we've seen work to decent effect. Obviously Ryze going to be not too shabby in the side lane himself. And now looking for a pick for aiming.
This is a bit of fun, because Tristana is one of the only champions that can match wave clear with a Sivir. Zeri can't. However, she will be able to do a lot of things in team fights, and aiming has been pretty happy on the Zeri thus far. Don't feel like you've got like Wolf sitting at home saying, yes, this is the Zeri angle, because I do think that there are ways to get towards her, especially if your Xin Zhao is able to set up the knock-up, things like that. Then they pile on the CC from there. Annie generally will be able to find the point-and-click CC to hold her in position if that cleanse is on cooldown, or if she's taken it at all, as of course a lot of our Zeris have opted for the Ghost.
I think D+'s team fight just feels so much better, if I'm being honest. I feel like even though they're squishy, I don't think they're too worried about it. I think they have so many tools to sort of start the fight with. I think they have so many targets that are kind of harder to pin down with the Aurora, with the Zeri, with the Rakan. I think ultimately, once the fight starts, once they start blowing up targets, the Ryze with someone, Lee Sin can kick things off. And I think Jiwoo is going to maybe struggle to survive in this one. We'll also see in how many games the Zeri's just taken over in matches.
Feels like we are reaching another Zeri meta, which is, thankfully, Volution Nami hasn't made a comeback yet. But it is feeling like when the Sivir comes out, the Zeri is often the answer. Certainly feeling a bit simple on the side of Nongshim, and keep it simple, stupid has worked out for a lot of our teams, especially in the Ryze group. But D+, they're good at these champs. We'll see whether they can make them work.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for game number 2. D Plus fans in full voice here today as we have a packed house at Lowell Park, waiting to see who is going to be the last team into the playoffs. It's been a bit sad, you know, because we lost Bro yesterday, and that means Chronicler's never going to cast a Bro game ever again. It could have been that he never cast a DK game ever again. So yesterday, his emotions were on the line. But today they are again.
Yeah.
Because his favorite team is DK, and they may be knocked out here. If Nongshim get their act together, and they're going to need to do it here and now with a composition like this. I think going up 2-0 in a matchup like this, it's dicey. Nongshim did prove that they were able to deny the reverse sweep. They almost got reverse swept by Bro, but they were able to win in that last game.
I think particularly in this sort of situation where it's do or die, there's so much pressure.
Oh, yeah.
And if you go down 2-0, it's really hard to think we have to just win three in a row, especially in Fearless, where it can be easy to end up in a situation where your draft just doesn't feel that convincing because there's so many less options in terms of champions. So equalizing, if they win this game, I think obviously one apiece, much better spot. Just need to make this draft work. I do think obviously have some great engage tools. Sivir, once you get some items behind it, does pump out a lot of damage.
The problem is Jiu hasn't necessarily pumped out a lot of damage. That has been a little bit of a sore spot here for Nongshim. So far in this lane though, things going fine. Obviously, you know, Zeri Rakan, not something to write home about. But Jiu is 0-6 on the Sivir. I do want to add the caveat that he hasn't won very much. So a lot of the champions are going to look like that. Aiming, I mean, I guess it's the writing's on the wall.
Lucid is 0-3 on Lee Sin though, so, you know.
There we go. We're going to have to buck one of the trends.
Yeah, someone's getting their win today. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing, is a lot of pressure in this game I feel like is on Jiwoo. Obviously, Yorick not the... I mean, we have seen some Yoriks do some work in team fights, but he's not the premier team fighter. And he doesn't have insane DPS or anything. It's very much about that initial combo in the fight. And obviously, Tibbers can do a lot. You get your extra rotations. But I think so much of this composition is reliant on Jiwoo surviving and pumping out the damage.
Yep.
A lot of threats to him. So far, the lane going pretty good, though. Getting some good pressure down with those bouncing blades.
The problem is that, like, Xiu has been really good at finding flank angles. He was even good at finding flank angles as if he was a DPS when he was playing Scion. And that worked horribly. But he then followed it up with that incredible Aatrox game. Did manage to get a lot of these wraparound plays to work out. Is Headbutt going to come on through here? Pulverize onto Beryl, who doesn't get the knock-up. Jiu fighting, and so is the top lane. Well, one side of the top lane is fighting. The other side is just taking damage. Kingen gets a ward over the wall. They know exactly where Lucid is. But can they stop this dive? That's going to be the question, as he just walks on up. And the Ghoulie wall comes down. Q going to connect there. And they do just get the flash out. Lucid able to safeguard his way to safety. Oh, that's another one. Need a Thesaurus. It's all right. Q going to chase down Kingen here. Thumbs up comes on through. And he's just going to be forced to walk as far as possible. Q connects, and Lucid comes on through. There's the auto, and doesn't even die to the turret. Oh, man, that couldn't have been worse.
So beautifully played there from D+. And the thing is, so much time that took.
Yeah.
Kingen was forced from the turret, so yes, he has TP, but he missed so many minions.
The whole wave just got eliminated.
Down. Yeah, because, I mean, it honestly would have been better if he just died quickly on the tower. It actually worked out really badly that he got zoned away from so much farm, TP'd back in really far behind, and D+ playing it so perfectly. No flashes burnt as well. Shiwu and Lucid maintaining those. Devastating for the top laner from Nongshim.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised the flashes weren't burnt, right? Because as he was running away, like, that's a moment where you could just try and flash to secure the kill, but they were so patient. Just walked it off. She said, I can get in range for this.
Yeah, as well, that final Q from Lucid looked like, I mean, yeah, right on the edge of the hitbox.
A little bit of Nautilus hitbox tech there.
Yeah.
You like to see it. As Lahen's able to headbutt his way out of danger, but not able to avoid the grand entrance, so holding the wave, almost just dying as Jiu now finding a lot of damage, is aiming. Yeah, you are dead, buddy. and Lehens just baited him into it.
That was the Lehen special of holding the wave until near death that baited aiming into trying to kill him, and he just dies for free. So good punish there from Jiwoo and Lehens. A little questionable though, I will say, from aiming. A bit of an overcommit and getting baited by the heal. Beryl used his heal earlier, so maybe it was one of those things where you so often see the supports trade heals. Maybe in his mind he was like, oh yeah, we both healed.
Yeah.
Is the only thing I can really explain that away from.
Don't try and explain it. It's a barrel lane.
True. It is also the Rise vibes.
Yeah. As Lehens avoiding the extendo beam damage. That's pretty good, but that dash was not it.
Yeah. And the heal that came in, saving him as well.
Yeah.
Not the best play we've seen.
No.
Definitely not.
Gonna put that one firmly in the cons column as Lucid's like, I'm supposed to hit those. You saw him delay a little bit there as Beryl is rotating over, does get the knock up onto Lehens, only level 4 is Jiwoo. Yeah, he's going to put him between worlds and he doesn't like being there. He is just gonna go to the other world though, instead. And so maybe he's a bit more of a fan of that one as Kingen finally with some spare time here in this top lane. But Jiwoo isn't often in this position. He's often the one that's being put down. This time around, it is working as Showmaker gets that 50 gold from the Tibbers as Gideon looking to make it happen again. Early flash comes through from Showmaker, but I don't think that's going to be enough to save him. And down he will go. Another good gank from Gideon in mid.
Yep, great punish there. Great read from Calyx as well. Flashing late and getting the flash out of Showmaker first. Able to punish that pick and setting up for Gideon. So a nice answer back after that death from Lehens. And this game, again, kind of similar to the first one, being very even in the early game.
Oh, yeah. It's in fact like 200 gold in it, and that's based on where waves are being bounced at this point in time. As we're going to check this one out one more time.
This one was a weird one just because Jiwoo had moved down. You know you don't have Pry on the top lane. You know Jiwoo has nothing else to be done. Just a big overextension from Nongshim. Playing to the side of the map where you're really not strong.
I was paying attention to see whether there was a Lehens question mark ping on Kingen. There wasn't. So maybe it was in fact communicated and he was just being a bit silly.
And this one was just good setup from the side of Nongshim. They had control wards in both those side brushes. There was some vision from D+, but gaps in it, which Gideon was able to sneak through. So an overextension from Showmaker that was punished there.
That's nicely done thus far. And we were talking about the fact that Jiwoo is the biggest priority here for Nongshim. And so far, has been doing very well. As Hex Flash over here from Lehens as Lucid picks up one of the grubs and will be able to back his way out. Beryl now looking a little worse for wear. As the rest of Nongshim are grouped up. Possible angle here. Let's see what they can actually get as Lehens on the level 5. So is Beryl though. As we get a reset on this grub, Jiwoo looking for an angle and they want to turn. Still a lot of damage coming on through there and Jiwoo trying to go between the worlds. My god, the burst damage is obscene! And now aiming is able to explode and pick up that kill. The king is fantastic. Jiwoo gonna go down towards that top side as Beryl just battle dances his way to safety. And Nongshim looking in shambles as they'll lose the grubs on top of everything else.
We've seen this so many times before. When your primary target is that Aurora, you think you've caught her, but she's so slippery, so hard to pin down. And if you don't immediately blow her up, she'll pop her ult, she'll get a ton of damage. And what is the cow doing?
The arm is out of the paddock and into the game. I'm not sure. It was also, you could see the confusion on Showmaker as far as the movement. He's like moving down, he's like better avoid the teleport. His aiming is like better avoid death. He is going to be able to cleanse, but that's an angry bear that will do a lot of damage.
That's a polar bear as well. You do not want to mess with polar bears.
No, especially not ones in scarves. It's the scarf that really adds that extra level of intimidation. You know he means business when he's all scarfed up, you know?
That's for sure. But yeah, the Aurora, in this situation, they see Jiwoo split, they try and make it engage. The thing is, if you don't immediately blow up the Aurora, she's so slippery, able to disengage, the ult does so much damage. And she was able to get off more rotations the back end of the fight, and this kick from Lucid to finish off.
Oh, man.
Jiwoo so good there. Jiwoo doesn't read it, doesn't get the flash away. Just great setup from D+. And they are rewarded. Able to get the second grub there, able to get some nice kills. Now, Sundered Sky finished for Lucid.
Oh, GG.
It's not a big difference, though. Gideon shouldn't be too far behind, but it does mean you're not really going to want to opt into fights in this brief window where Lucid has his done.
Yeah, I think at this point, DK, if they want to take the Drake, they can take it, and there shouldn't be a contest, right?
Yep.
If you get Sundered Sky first, you should just generally win, unless something goes horribly wrong. An angle could be found here. Of course, Alistair can make pretty game-warping plays, right? If you get a huge Pulverize, if you're able to get a headbutt that locks someone down, he has Flash available. As Lucid, looking for another angle. There's a cute little safeguard forward, but he's just going to miss the Q, so he'll just be backing away.
Expected the side stuff from Kingen, and he was just like, nope, I'm a walk in a straight line sort of guy.
Yeah, well, Q going to connect here as Gideon just gets rid of Lucid, or at least attempts to, but the Battle Dance comes down. Beryl holding Gideon in place. The Lee Sin Rakan combo working out so well. And I think he tried to do damage back to Lucid. Sundered Sky, baby.
Yeah, I mean, there was no way you'd win that 1v1, but the Rakan meant you weren't getting away.
Kingen, use the Maiden. Let her try and save you. The answer was Lucid not quite able to tank this one up. They want Beryl to come on over, and he is looking to lock this one down. Sheer will be able to get on top. There is the knockup. Between Worlds comes on through, and Kingen is very, very dead. Lahans with a bit of a wraparound play here is Jiu. Jiu? Why? Never mind. I mean, they should be able to kill Showmaker here, so Jiu using his health bar as a resource, something like that, and Showmaker is very, very dead.
I like how they panned away from the bot play because it was just so dead. Just so unbelievably dead.
They could have panned away from Showmaker as well because he was also unbelievably dead.
They could have just shown us, like, you know, maybe the ducky in the river or something.
Yeah.
The little frog you see just next at the top of
I like
screen.
yeah, the frog's fantastic. I like the dragonfly as well. There are a lot of frogs, honestly, in
I
the
love
river.
the frogs.
It's
they're
really,
so
really
they're
cool.
so cute. Yeah, but Dragon picked up. I think obviously trying to contest Lucid with the Sundered Sky wasn't the right timing. It was a great find from Lucid. Beryl's there to follow up. Gideon now has his Sundered Sky, but is a bit behind. This was pretty nicely played, honestly. They go for a little bit of burst, disengage, drop the tower aggro, let it reset, and then Beryl comes in, and he knows Kingen has flash, so he goes for a W angle where he's like, you know, trying to make it a short W where if he flashes, potentially he's still going to get caught out. Kingen just holds his flash. He's like, I'm dead anyway. They have Aurora ult and stuff.
Yeah, Lucid goes in, goes back up.
Holds the summoner. Here, this was kind of a situation where there's a cow behind you. And Showmaker's like, you know what? I'm just going to keep running.
Gio also got kind of trolled by minions as well, so just looked a little bit desperate when he was getting out of the way of that turret.
Showmaker got the wave, though, so, you know, he'll take it.
Yep, didn't actually matter at all. It was just kind of funny. As DK doing a fair bit of work towards this turret here, as Lucid is going to get out of the turret range by taking the enemy Raptors. That feels efficient. This also feels pretty good on the Nongshim side, as Chu still getting the best of this particular matchup, but Nongshim might be able to force first turret here. As you can see, DK not quite able to lock this turret down in time. Gio also playing very defensively, and that should be the top lane outer turret falling pretty soon. They have run out of minions though, which is a little awkward. Feral and aiming should be able to get this one though. As Lahan's going to show up. This next plate is going to fall, but I don't know whether they're getting the turret. And so, as you can see, first turret blood does go over to Nongshim. Xiu heading between the worlds here momentarily, as Kingen is just having a horrible time.
Yeah.
He's now able to get his ghoulies to do some work.
Ghoulies helping out a bit, but it's still just not too fun at the moment, especially because, you know, Kingen is, Xiu is a good amount ahead, and Lucid just keeps showing up.
Yeah. Yeah, Kingen kind of thought that he could walk up and be like, I'll put you in a ghoulie cage.
Oh, this is a great call, actually.
Yeah, just going to teleport away. Gives him the thumbs up. He's like, all right, called you jungler again, did you, coward?
Yeah, if Lucid had been a little bit sharper, it would have been able to interrupt that, but Kingen, great read on the play to get out. Oh!
Aiming is ulting, looking for an angle onto Jiu here, and actually with that damage coming on through, Lucid turning up, Jiu's not going to be able to help take down this wave, even though there's no cannon, so this does guarantee the outer turret in mid does go down, holds that gold lead at about 2.8k as Gideon now going to get charmed up and kicked back and destroyed. Aiming gets another one. Oh goodness, we are on track for some certification here. Get the paperwork out, ladies and gentlemen. Aiming is looking kind of strong.
It is a significant advantage right now for Aiming over his counterpart, for Lucid over his counterpart, for Xiu over his counterpart. Only a lead for Calyx over Showmaker, and the thing is, it's Nani.
Yeah.
not really the pick who you expect to be able to carry you through a 5v5. Because yes, you can have the big ult, you can have that burst, but you're not going to be able to kill 5 people as an Annie in a team fight. And there's a lot of threats on D+ who are very strong right now.
LGU going to try and look for some boomerang action here as there's a nice knock up onto Beryl. They do get the feats of strength though, and Beryl can battle dance. So with Showmaker moving down, he is A-OK. Extendo beam on the Calyx is going to deter him from moving any further forward. And so that is just a Herald being locked up. That should guarantee themselves an extra turret, not to mention those feats of strength for some cool shoes to be picked up. And man, Gullywall feels so useless against Aurora.
It just nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
It's like a vague suggestion. Like,
yeah.
Do you want to hang out there for a little? No? Okay.
Oh, I guess you don't.
Not interested.
Yeah, a bit of a shame. And this ward was also a shame.
Yeah.
For Nongshim.
I mean, the Realm Warp was just... If you weren't extremely dead before the Realm Warp, you were afterwards.
We in the business call that deader.
Yeah.
He is definitely even deader.
Yeah. No way you're getting out of that one. And now D+, pretty sizable lead. Second Dragon up at 45 with it being a Hex Tech, so all the tech getting out of the way. The primitive dragons will be on offer, as Brendan Valdez coined it.
I like that. Primitive dragons, brilliant.
Yeah.
I like how it's like, it's double usage. It's now Lucid gonna go in, look for Lahans. Good double knock up there from Beryl, but there's not a whole lot of other people moving over outside of Xiu. But there were a lot of Nongshim members that were ready to rotate up, so I like just playing a little bit more defensively. But as you can see, they're defending this monopoly of vision that they have towards the bottom side of the map. And with 7 seconds to go, it should guarantee double dragon here for DK. And that means that, what is it, 1 grub for Nongshim?
Hey, they got a tower. Hey, they have 10 petals.
10 petals, that's a big thing.
Look, if their focus was getting more petals, they have achieved that goal.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't necessarily know what the goals are, right?
Yeah.
Like, going into a game like this, maybe their goal is to have the Maiden and Tibbers have a tea party. Maybe that's the goal.
I think with this many petals, Nongshim deserves some cream barbecue after this game.
Yeah, absolutely. God, bit topical there, my friend. Oh, I like it though. All right, Lucid gonna throw down the Rift Herald here. Shelly wanting to get in on that action. See whether Lucid does drive it towards this inner turret or whether he goes somewhere else. There it is. Going to be picked up. He is heading towards a little bit of a dangerous...
the sights he's going
this
mid.
Is so cute.
Oh,
never mind. Gives himself a thumbs up.
No, I don't think he deserved that. No cream barbecue for you, Lucid.
Hey, wait, but the minion wave does get here. They might be able to get some... Never mind. It was just kind of a mistake. The Maiden is going to go down. No tea parties for her. As aiming... Oh, dear. Okay, Realm Warp is going to get shown. He is just instantly dead.
He just teleports out.
Yeah, and he's gone.
Oh, my God.
I don't know, man. All right, Calyx is going to throw a bear at aiming. He's going to survive that. Beryl looks to try and knock up said bear. Oh, that was the silliest thing I've ever seen. Do you know what this is? This is about making it easier to do Pumvos, okay? And, you know, Lucid's had such a good game. Showmaker was so good game 1. Showmaker's like, no, give it to the young man. You know, I've seen all this
That was
before.
the equivalent to like a shovel lying on the floor, and Showmaker stepped on it, and it just swung up and hit him in the face.
Yeah. It's Sideshow Bob and the Rakes.
It is. It actually is.
All right, Lucid just going to kick this pesky Yorick, but it's not really going to do too much as Xiu is at least defended momentarily. The Ghoulies do come up as now Calyx looking for Beryl, but the Incinerate not going to land.
Beryl's just 1v1 in Calyx because he feels like he can, and I don't believe he can.
He hasn't died yet. Beryl needs to get something in the middle column.
This is so funny because Showmaker goes for the Realm Warp, and I kind of thought he was like, I'll bait him with a Realm Warp, but I'm not going to take it because he steps out, and then he goes back in. I don't know if it was an accident or not, but he just...
That was so funny. Also, the fact that he was teleporting... Oh, no, okay. It would be silly if he teleported to a minion that was like right there.
It was just as funny the second time.
It was.
Honestly.
Wait, that's not a replay, is it? Okay, never mind. Kingan's dead again.
Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened.
Sometimes you just get hit with a rake, man. It's what happens.
Yeah.
All right. We do have 2 items now complete, though. Gideon got a small wooden hammer, and Lucid has a big, scary-looking axe. As Calyx is now getting ganked by aiming. Oh, the redemption power here from Beryl. As Calyx is going to die, it's just whether he can take anyone with him. And the answer is not for now, as Lahens, yeah, you're going to have to get yourself out of there, buddy. Aiming is actually really starting to do some damage. Has hit those spikes, I think. 2 items is now done. And that will only get worse as this game goes on. Already, that burst damage is starting to get there. And I think he's feeling himself, as the Otacon has just been started here from DK. They're 6,000 gold ahead.
They are very ahead. Last game, very back and forth, you know, felt close till there was a point where D+ just swung the lead. But this one, it's been all D+. And now with the Otacon secured, 2 dragons in pocket, third Drake for the Mountain Soul in a minute 20. They're in a phenomenal position here. Kingen just a little bit of overstaying. A lot of it of overstaying.
Well, Xiu did the majority of his health bar by himself and then said, Lucid, I am missing some cooldowns.
They all missed
And Lucid's
everything.
like, I am missing my Q.
Yeah.
And eventually, the Lee Sin was there for moral support.
Yeah, just a lot of auto-attacking. Here, I don't know if the flash was needed from Beryl, but I like the energy.
Yep.
Very easy play for D+. Get the tower, get the kill.
So I feel, and this should be making Nongshim fans nervous. I feel like DK are making all of the mistakes that they normally make. They have not changed the haphazard nature of their playstyle. However, they haven't needed to. It's just enough.
Look at Beryl, he knows they're there.
Yeah, he very
But he kind of wants it, you know?
Yeah. He's like, banana brush controller. We must.
Like, I will be the bait. And D+ are like, we're not ready to fight. He's like, I will still be the bait.
Showmaker's done. Like, he's PvE. Headbutt Pulverize onto Beryl, and he is able to get himself out of there. Did have a cleanse. Has to use everything that he had at his disposal.
As I said, he will be the bait.
Yes.
You know.
We're not sure what he's actually baiting for. However, he will indeed be said bait.
He just keeps repeating that he'll be the bait.
Yeah. Lucid's in the Ghoulie wall. Boomerang Blade going to connect there is now Xiu. Can he actually get over and affect this one?
It's a lot of damage.
It is. Should be the Dragon going towards Nongshim, because DK have decided 2 inner turrets, maybe an inhibitor turret, is probably worth the trade for your first Drake in the game.
Yeah, turrets are pretty good.
Well, there's a double knock-up from Beryl. The jump scare from this Rakan! And now aiming, uses the Ghoulie wall to keep himself safe. Beryl doing his favorite thing here. And out goes Lucid. Not going to quite find the kickback there, but I don't think that Nongshim have much left in the tank. And if you make them look a little silly, but aiming's still alive, the outcome will still be the same, as Xiu is going to be able to put him down. 3 dead on the side of Nongshim. They do get a Drake, though, into nice all point.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly not the worst outcome for Nongshim. They honestly got the shutdown from Lucid, but it's not good. It's definitely not good. A little bit scrappy here. The jump scare, Calyx flashes into the knockup, unfortunately.
He flashed out of the knockup, but still into the knockup.
And then Lucid, definitely not a Sonic Wave he needed to follow.
I got the cooldowns aiming. Now you can hit them. And honestly,
and
he could.
You with the flanking Sivir. Yeah, not where I would choose my Sivir to be. But it was a place my Sivir was. And unfortunately for Nongshim, didn't pan out. But again, they got the Dragon. They kept D+ a bit further away from the Soul. And the gold lead didn't grow despite those 2 towers being taken. Kept it relatively the same. And that's why I'm kind of saying that it wasn't the worst outcome for Nongshim with how things kind of played out, but it definitely wasn't like a good outcome.
Yeah, in the context of the game, it's not the worst thing to have gone wrong so far.
Most definitely.
That. I'm looking at the Zeri, though, and now she has the cool yellow sword thing.
Ah, yes.
That Infinity Edge is a little daunting.
Do you not think it's cool that Yuntal looks like the arrows you'd fire from Runans?
Hey, true. Does kind of have that vibe. Although the Runans does look like it's got like a golden arrow, but maybe that's the background?
Maybe that's like the trails, like the tracer from, like, you know, like the lines that come from firing arrows?
Yeah.
Like you fire them out and then, like if you swap their position, like the Runans just fire them and that's them coming in, you know?
Yeah, something like that.
And then Infinity Edge is just there, you know?
Yeah, for an archer, having a very cool sword is sometimes just what you need.
Yeah.
Because sometimes he'll need to do some hand-to-hand combat. Maybe he will build a something else. As Lucid goes in, that's and then out, and then back in again, and then is unceremoniously destroyed. Teleport in from Sheer, who's just bouncing around the fight. A lot of AoE damage, but DK may have gone a bit of a step too far. Never mind. Just use the power of the wallets, DK. Yeah. It's going to be fine.
D+, you are 6,000 gold ahead. It's a red buff. It is not that deep.
No, they went very deep. I don't know what you're talking about. That looked very deep to me.
I just want to remind everyone, the loser of this is out. They do not play again for the rest of the year. The winner goes through the playoffs, and D+ do not need to be flipping the game over a red buff.
Well, I mean, you might say flipping. I say courage. Because that was brave. What Lucid did. He did not have fear. But we have evolved to have fear for a reason, and maybe we need to start giving that a little bit of credit. As Nongshim now looking to lock down their blue buff, they should be able to do so. Unless aiming is able to extendo beam it to death, and he just steals it away. My god, that is so frustrating.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bounty gold that Nongshim have picked up, though. 1,400 is not an insignificant amount, and you can see that gold lead has shrunk.
Yeah, it has. They're clawing things back, honestly, at this point. And Jiwoo is starting to be more and more of a threat. You know, I talked about how I saw... Oh, no, Lehens.
Okay. Well, Lehens is not necessarily the one they want to engage on, as he does get kicked back anyway. Uses the ulti, but he's still dead. Unfortunately, the will is unbreakable.
Oh, no, Kingen, no.
Oh, no. He immediately flashes out. Kingen and teleports in this game. Oh, it has only been a mess. As now Lucid is going to be able to get on top of him. The Flash Room prison, and he is definitely in prison there. The Shoveler goes down.
You know, it's been a long time since you could cancel teleport.
It's like, dude, do I just need to be this close? It's going to be fine, right? It was not fine.
It's been a long time since you could cancel teleports, but I just imagine Kingen was just spamming the button on the way. Like, no.
He's like, bring me back, bring me back.
Yeah, unlucky there. Yeah, so level 10 Alistair, the damage reduction on the ultimate isn't actually that high, and he pops it pretty late and just dies anyway, just gets deleted. And then...
yeah.
You gotta feel for him.
I mean, to his credit, he managed to avoid Barrel's knockup.
But not to his credit, he kind of left his wife behind. She's like chasing after him.
Yeah, look at her. She looked so sad as well.
Like Dia?
Yeah. Oh, she is on the flank, but maybe he's getting flanked as he just bounces to the rest of his team. Good knock up there from Beryl to make sure that she is going to be okay. Boomerang Blade starting to hurt with 3 items on the Sivir. But Nongshim lose interest. They did manage to buy themselves a little bit of extra time, but DK is so far ahead. Once again, 7,000 gold as Calix Alcove Gaming is sometimes the last resort that you have to rely on.
If they look for him. I mean, you would say, why would they? But we've seen people look before.
Oh dear. Well, let's see whether Xiu can get him. No, he's dead.
Nice.
That's going to be Xiu that locks that down. That's, 1.1k. Something like that. Is it worth the inhibitor turret? Maybe. Honestly, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of gold. You might have lost that inhibitor anyway.
Yeah.
Inhibitors respawn is the take. He gets to pick up the last switch, but he just finished his IE. Obviously, losing the dragon isn't ideal, but the silver lining is that at least they don't have soul, so getting that dragon earlier was obviously pretty big.
Aiming has hit a huge spike as well, because now he has a bow for all of those arrows.
There you go.
It's pretty incredible. So 4 items to 3.5. But Xiu was just, kind of caught where he's not allowed to be, and the money going to Xiu, a huge deal.
So much. Guys, no, guys.
You do not win the base race!
No, guys, 1 was okay.
They don't win the base race. Okay, they're not going to base race.
Okay, so earlier I said...
Are we doing a worth check right now?
Yeah, so earlier I said 1,110 gold in your 80 carry for the mid inhibitor tower in an inhib.
Yeah.
Might have been worth, okay?
Got it.
They then gave over another tower and another inhib.
Okay, rebuttal. Rebel Baron power play currently sitting at negative 140, 60,
yes,
59.
The problem is, you now have 2 inhibs down, and on the opposite side of the map from where the dragon's going to spawn in 3 minutes.
I feel like you're just being a contrarian. I'm looking at that Rebel Baron power play, and that says Nongshim did good.
Wait, Beryl didn't face check?
Hang on.
Who is this man?
What is this game? Aiming, he's going to just ult, and Calyx is down to 50% before he can do anything. One more auto would need to come in as Aiming flashes away. Lahen's unable to get on top of him, but down goes Beryl as Xiu into the back line where he really enjoys spending time, and I feel like Aiming just baited 2 people to die.
Okay, Jiu getting a ton of gold of this, and he has the wave clear.
And now with 2, okay, do you know what 2 inhibitors down means?
A lot of farm.
Absolutely, and the enemy team does not get the wave. Look at that, Geo Eden good. He's opening his little notebook that he got from Teddy that he had dinner with like just the other night. You mentioned the K barbecue, went with Teddy, and Teddy's like, be Siva, let game go mega long. And he's reading it. It was written in crayon, but he's like, I'm doing it.
That's the strat. Your Calyx ends up using his stun, not on aiming, but just drops the bear on him, so he's kind of in an uncomfortable spot. And then Jiu is just shredding at this point.
Well, they did get the red buff.
Did D+ do a little bit too much throwing? Because now we have Mortal Reminder of Jiu. He's 4 items. He is strong.
Yeah, and also the gold lead is halved. There is still, obviously, like, Soul Point is a big deal. Next Baron's going to be up in about the same amount of time as well. There is a GA on Lucid, but at this point in the game, like, Lucid needs to make a heroic play, not the I'm just going to go in and if I miss, it's fine, I can auto them down. Like, you're not that fed, actually.
Yep. And actually, we look at, items, 3 items each on the junglers, on the mid laners, on the top laners, 4 items each on the AD carry. The gold lead hasn't, the biggest gold lead is between the supports.
Yep. And Beryl is very far ahead on that front. But the cow doesn't care. Like,
yeah.
Pay him in hay.
It's like the lock-it advantage is the biggest thing in this game right now, and then it's mostly like tier 3 boosts, tier 3 boot upgrades and the feats of strength. So it's not that big of a deal right now. And a lot of them have gone for like the upgraded Merc Treads, which is a magic damage shield, and it's only, Yorick does some magic damage, but it's mostly the Annie. So it's just not that big. It
doesn't
of a deal.
help you against Jiu, and that is going to be the biggest thing for them to worry about.
So it's very close. There is obviously, the Atakan.
There's also, there's intangibles as well with the fact that there's 2 inhibitors down, and on the other side of those inhibitors being down, there's a Mountain Soul spawning. And Mountain Soul will protect against Scylla.
Mountain Soul is big, but I feel like the game is in a better spot for Nongshim than it has been for a long time, so they're in a good position to potentially fight this one. They are trying to deal with these waves though and push out outside the base, and they are trying to clear out these wards.
Extremely scattered at this point in time. 30 seconds
guys,
on the Baron.
There's a 3rd inhibitor you have to protect. No, someone needs to defend. Guys, Showmaker is bot.
Yeah, if you lose
guys,
3 inhibitors...
Someone, please.
Oh, God. Oh, but this guarantees Soul, right? Because if they have to go back... Oh, no, Lahen's might get caught out of position here as well. Does have that level 2 ulti now. Gets a headbutt back onto Lucid, who finds the flash kick and manages to pick off Calyx. I don't know whether he's necessarily the target, but he has a GA! Gideon has to flash away. The Civ is already dead, and DK actually thought it 3 steps ahead. Kingin now going to get flashed on by Showmaker. He loves flashing over base gates, by the way. And it was all just a cunning ruse, a bait and switch, and it will earn DK match point in this best of 5. And I can't believe they outthought them.
Done in a D+ fashion, right? There's some goofiness, there's some shenanigans, but at the end of the day, they come together and they take this series to match point, crushing Jiu, crushing Calyx, a great kick from Lucid, and they're 1 away from playoffs.
My God, that was absolutely insane. We have to remember the Nongshim, this is the legend team, right? They haven't been picking up very many wins, but they earned their spot in the top 5. DK got extremely close. It was a tiebreaker for them and KT to make their way in. We'll see whether they can join all of those teams once again in the playoffs with 1 more victory.
And I think the thing that's really worrying right now is that D+ aren't playing flawless League of Legends. They are still doing the things we know them for. They're still doing these overconfident mistakes, but they're vibing, right?
Yeah.
Let's be honest,
honestly,
they are vibing, and it just looks like this sort of D+ where they're having a good time. Beryl's doing Beryl things. There's some goofy plays like Showmaker, just a realm warping into the Spade. And yet they're still so far ahead right now of Nongshim, and even when Nongshim are like, it just feels like they're Nongshim are sweating and D Plus are singing payphone. That is what this series is right now.
I mean, that's what it felt like all the way up until they so extraordinarily outplayed them.
Yeah.
Like, Lucid, it looked like he thought he'd caught Lehens, but instead he's like, no, I won the game. And they obviously pre-planned that. That was incredibly impressive to see out of DK, but you never know what you're going to get. You know, like, is it a murder mystery and you get like, it's a really crazy plan at the end and then it all comes to fruition? Or is it just watching someone fall down the stairs? That's sometimes what it is. We'll see what happens in game number 3 as we go to a short break, then the space, and then we'll be back.
궁으로 여기 걸 수 있는데 알리 볼 수 있어? 알리부터 보자. 알리 보자. 버스 봐. 나 쌍마 볼게. 쌍마 풀 봐도 돼. 풀. 간다. 야 애니 노플이야. 야 이거. 애니 11 잡아 피니시 나왔어. 가자. 진짜 오동 안 되냐 라이. 야 요리. 바텀 라인. 질렀다. 볼게. 우리 없어. 노플. 쌍라이트장 하다.
렛츠고.
보자.
우리 루틴으로 가. 해승승.
멸망전이네.
그러니까 멸망전인데 마지막까지 가야 돼.
재밌긴 해야 돼. 재밌게 가야지.
그래, 재밌게 가야 돼.
파이팅 해보자. 가봅시다.
그래, 얘들아. 후회 없이 가보자, 막판.
집중 잘해보자. 파이팅.
파이또.
파이팅.
플레인에 가느냐 아니면 이번 시즌이 사라지느냐가 단 한 개 세트 걸려 있습니다. 그 세 번째 세트를 지금부터 만나보시죠.
딱 감았고 이거. 딱 감았어 가요.
야, 바텀 살짝 봐줄래, 이거? 못 가겠다.
나 천천히 봐줄게. 나 공간은.
대기하면 마우라이즈 다 간다, 이거. 나 천천히 갈게, 이거.
딱이 됐다.
당연하게. 이거 쌈봐도 돼? 나 갈게, 나도 갈게. 끝. 나 미드할게.
이거 돌아와가지고 얘가.
까비 괜찮아.
버피 캐리라고 나쁘진 않아.
이번에 밀고 바로 들어가서 치자, 이거. 확인. 여기 진짜 좀 잘 지켜줘. 스마트 정도 불어올 수도 있겠다.
쓸게 이번에.
공 끊었어. 야, 오고. 이거 내가 먹었어. 사람들 쪽 되나? 사람들. 오 받았어. 오 잡았어. 앞에 거 때려. 야, 칼 거. 앞에 거. 라이즈 높여. 빼. 높이 노플이야. 날라. 나이스. 되게
나쁘지 않다.
나이스. 자, 용도 내가 먹었어, 얘들아. 나이스. 까비. 괜찮아. 나쁘지 않아. 다음 거 잘하자. 모델차에서 받으면서 싸우는 거 별로야? 나 디테일 좋아. 천천히 가자. 때릴게, 이거. 오 갔어. 맞을게. 맞아. 야, 쿵딱. 나이 잭슨 높을. 오케이. 야, 타워하면서. 야, 보자. 겹 보자, 이거. 2차까지 갈만도 해, 이거. 줘도 돼. 버릴게. 할3 살아. 나 공격할게, 이거. 가볼게. 잡긴 했어. 어때, 얘들아? 나 위로 쏠 수 있는데. 쫄자. 와봐. 해야 돼. 나 여기까지 깼는데? 좋네.
야 한타 잘하는 팀이 이겼어 이거. 집중해보자.
야, 여기 라이즈 한번 대주면 이거
걸어봐.
야, 라이즈. 야, 나 좋냐? 받아봐. 오케이. 빼면서. 빼면서. 있어. 나 이 돌아. 천천히 봐줘. 이거 다 제 싸움보다 제 싸움. 야, 잭. 야, 공격. 와봐. 트란트 잡아야 돼. 나 가연이고. 요리. 맞긴 했다. 싸움 잡아야 돼, 이거. 제발. 내가 잡을게. 나 잡을만해. 천천히. 라인 가봐. 내가 집중할게. 라인 가봐. 라인은 있긴 하고. 너 그냥 무조건 집 찍어야 돼. 따라오겠는데. 마을마다 이러. 마을마다. 나이스. 와, 다행이다. 잡았다. 나 게임 많아. 재밌노? 잘해보자. 라인 쪽 지를 수 있으면 바로 가볼게, 이거. 다음 안 보니까 갈게, 이거. 오케이. 맞아. 천천히. 맞아. 나 날라왔어. 괜찮아, 빠지면 하면 돼. 야, 쟤. 야, 짐 봐줘야 돼. 짐 볼게. 잡았고. 야, 여기 잡으면 끝인데? 나 밑에 해줄게. 트런들. 못 잡아, 얘 절대 못 잡아. 얘들아, 이거 게임 안 끝났다. 바로 가야 돼. 바로 줘야 돼. 이래서 그냥 싸움 안 밀리니까 얘네 그냥 싹 빡세게 하려면 싸움 보자, 이거. 겨우 장난하게 하겠다, 얘들아. 하긴 이거 뽀삐공에 날라가는 거 계속 생각하긴 해야겠다. 오라 윗자리야, 이거. 내쪽 본다, 얘네. 가야죠. 오로라가 대충 궁풀해봐. 피 한 5천 정도 되면. 야, 오로라 궁풀해봐, 쌤. 야, 나 오로라 잡았어. 야, 가있다. 진 맞아야 돼. 나 2초. 진 맞아. 진 높해. 진. 야, 오고. 야, 색. 잡았고. 야, 진짜. 오고. 그래, 이게 도파민이지. 진짜 미치겠어. 아깝다. 좋네. 너무 아쉽다. 아깝네. 진짜 고생했다, 얘들아. 나 너무 떨려. 진짜 너무 잘했어. 이게 도파민이지. 잘했어, 얘들아. 오케이 전축은행 결국 이 플레이의 마지막 기준자 이렇게 되나요?
가을이 OK 전축은행 브리온을 반겨줍니다.
I double checked the script. This is not normally in the script. Usually game 2 leads to some sort of heartbreak and toughness, but no, this was D plus Kia playing not only a good game, but a styling game. A Lee Sin getting picked up here in the draft. Lucid popping off, kicking people backwards. Barrel looked like world championship form. Game 2, everyone.
Well, I mean, let's not pretend that it was a perfect game by any means, but it was a game that provided a lot of comedy. I was already, wrapped up in my blankie, hiding on the floor behind the couch, terrified of the inevitable throw. And then it just didn't happen. And DK just kind of stomped Nongshim and 1-2-0. And obviously, again, there were a lot of moments where I think they made individual mistakes, but we didn't see the classic collapse. And I think that has been the biggest difference, is that it seems like they don't buy in to bad situations.
So we gotta look at the draft here, because I don't think this draft is any other bad draft for Nongshim here, because I feel like in terms of how they want to set it up for the fight is actually simple. They have Annie and Jinja for the early skirmishes, and also they have such a great side lane option with Sivir pushing mid, with Yorick having a priority on the top lane. And I think draft was not issue, but the issue is that their best player is actually Calix, who makes huge difference between any other teams, but he's just playing Annie.
Yeah.
And I don't feel great about it.
Yeah, let's take a look at highlight number 1 here at Grubs while we dive into that a little bit more. The Annie not having the impact that he want here over the Grubs.
And what's really the most interesting for me from the DK side of things is that so many of the things we see in this game are things that DK have failed at. Like Shiu on that flank specifically, we have seen him die in that exact position like 3 or 4 times, like in the last couple of weeks. But what for me is the biggest difference between DK in this fight and really in all their fights today is that they are so much more cohesive than they have been, even when players like Lucid, I think, is, despite how good he's been performing, still the worst offender of this. Baron aiming have this as well. They go too aggressive. That's still there. But I now, if one member goes too aggressive, we don't have the rest of the team going. Like diving in face.
That was
first.
Diving? Yeah, just in case you didn't know, that was diving.
I mean, I can't. I would
do it at home.
I would fully commit, but there's a table.
Yes.
Would have found a way.
Well,
much better at this than I am.
They didn't do it until it was appropriate to dive fully in, as we can see here. Over by the red buff at 33 minutes, a bunch of skirmishes have gone D+ way. They have the gold lead, and this is what you want to see if you're a D+ fan.
The clean kick into Rakan combo. Like, this is the DK that we really wanted, and they're back now. We were like fighting each other is about like what's better, you know?
Hey, what did?
Or Rise go first.
We're back in this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
right?
today
I don't want to draw a grand conclusion.
I'm just saying.
Let's not forget that Nongshim was in this exact position against Bro.
It's fine. Like, look at the techniques, you know? Look at the techniques. Look at the Rakan combos.
Zoom in.
Team fights.
No.
Oh my god.
I think they've been great.
It's the DK that I know before. They're back. Yeah.
Well, I have some evidence to the contrary, unless
Are they
this is
back?
actually part of it. Highlight 3, which was
They never left.
like,
They never left.
but it's always like, this was the moment where we lost Ox.
We need to find a way. Showmaker was because it looks like he didn't want to take that. I swear there is no world. There is no world where you want to take that.
Okay, we gotta invite Showmaker.
We have to find it out.
No. Yes. No. Oh, no. Oh, God.
It's everything about it.
He gets away.
And then the funniest part to me is that as that is happening, Kingen TP's out and Calyx TP's in. And we've talked a lot about DK because they are the teams that I think have shown us the kind of weirdest and wildest up and down in form. But Nongshim, one of the strengths that they had, I think, was their team fighting and objective setups. We're not getting any of that. Like, this team looks super disjointed, and I think a lot of the wins that they were able to get were more so side laning, right? Think back to game 1. We're not getting any of that.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying that they should have a better mid lane champion in the mid, because I think Calyx is the one can actually make the difference. Again, I think I just want him on a DPS, so he can actually set up the fight for himself. But this time around, I don't think him setting up the fight is working out for Nongshim. I think they should just pick for basic stuff, so simple team fights, front to back, and I think in that kind of team fight, I think Nongshim has a really huge potential in terms of like how they want to team fight around, and I think again it's draft.
Just bait DK with some Vi and Ahri, and I'm telling you, they're not gonna say no. He just drops counter dive, and then they're gonna be cooked.
Yeah, we'll see. The D+ have been merchants of that Vianari. 1 game left to go for Nongshim. They have no more losses to give or their season is over. On the opposite side, a clean sweep. A clean sweep for D+ Kia on the cards. Let's see what happens here in game number 3.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And Chronicler, I appreciate the inner turmoil that we are witnessing every time we head back to the space, because I know you're just ready for the full, unadulterated collapse that is incoming. It just may not be in game 3. And we'll see whether they can get through that hurdle and whether DK can find themselves some actual momentum. Because I feel like in a lot of their other best of 5s, even best of 3s, you don't leave this caster desk feeling like, oh wow, DK are a clean team, they were better. You don't feel that way. You're like, oh, DK managed to destroy the majority of the Nexus in this match, and it could have gone either way.
D+ battled their inner demons, and they came out ahead.
Yep.
Just.
Almost every DK game is just them versus themselves.
Yeah.
That is kind of how it goes.
Every moment I see Beryl in the Rift, I know he is fighting against impulses that he has.
Which is why he's such an impressive player. Because he does not only have to face off against his opposition, but also himself and his inner demons.
Yeah.
And his inner angels and any other voices that might be in there. I imagine they're all probably telling him to do some strange things on the Rift. And often they do get through. This time around, though, was able to find some fantastic angles. The Rakan, absolutely terrifying. But that is not going to be played in this next game as we see the Trundle being banned away first.
Okay, so they'll trade with the Wukong. We're often seeing the Talia, Azir bans traded, so I think the approach here is that if Nongshim aren't going to ban Talia and try and get it, then D+ might just not ban Azir, and there'll be a trade of those mid laners. So now's the point where Nongshim need to decide. They ban Kai'Sa, so presumably D+ won't ban away the Azir in return, and it'll be a trade of mids.
Yeah.
We'll see if they go in a different direction and choose to take one away, but that seems to be what they're telegraphing with the ban so far.
Yeah, we saw some interesting bans in the last game. Things like the Braum were banned away. You could take... I don't think you need to ban Galio, because I think it's definitely Talia or Azir that are going to be first picked. But leaving them both up seems to be the right move. The Azir is going to be banned away, so Talia will be left up.
So I feel like Nongshim kind of called that bluff on this one, and now you just lock in that Talia, and you feel really good about this. That is not Talia.
Well, that is Ziggs.
I just feel like it feels like a really interesting pivot, a really weird decision to go in that direction, and just to leave Talia open.
Yeah.
I do feel like obviously Ziggs, in terms of how team comms function as a whole, does well into Talia, because obviously Talia does good into champions that come into her. She's pretty short range, Ziggs outranged her, but yeah, I just feel like this really was setting up in a big way for that first pick Talia that hasn't obviously been prioritized. Jin going to come through for aiming here.
I'd already written down Talia, but it doesn't actually come on through. And so we could just see Jin Bard locked in or something like that. But maybe you just lock Jin Talia and then take Bard on 3. I think that doesn't sound like a bad idea either. As Twisted Fate is instead going to be the consideration. Showmaker not wanting that one to be picked away from him again. And Lucid is going to lock it in.
Yep, and the thing is with these two picks is obviously, you know, you have the stun card threat.
Oh, Sejuani. There it is.
Oh, this is a powerful combo. And you have the Ziggs to throw in the bomb on top of it, right? You know you're not dealing with the Talia at this point with the TF locked in. If you get on top of either the Jin or TF, they're so vulnerable. The Ziggs kind of provides the alley-oop. You know, the Kai'Sa's banned away, but the Ziggs functionally does the same thing. When you engage on a target, he presses R on top.
Yep.
As the follow-up. The Bard is a great pick.
Presses R on top of that,
yeah.
And then the R from the Ziggs doesn't do anything.
Yeah. So I think the Bard...
Lilia was obviously the choice.
Yeah, I think Lilia isn't... So I don't think Lilia is bad here, but I just think you could have taken the Bard on that 3 and then saved the Lilia till later. I don't think it was a likely ban. But Lilia works well into things like Sejuani and Yone, because when they're coming into you, you can Q, put the sleep, kind of disrupt in that manner. But yeah, I feel like Nongshim have a pretty big edge so far with how this draft has played out.
I would agree. It's looking very, very strange on the side of DK. Maybe going for a little bit more experimentation this time around. Is the Shen going to be taken away from Lehens?
That definitely makes sense. I think Nongshim should ban the Bard away, definitely in this situation, denying that.
Yep.
Away from Beryl, just who can obviously disrupt that engage quite effectively.
This is already just feeling like a massive departure from what we've been seeing in the series thus far, and I think that bodes well for Nongshim. I think mixing it up, making things different, keeping your enemy on their toes is a good idea. Poppy going to be banned away first. I imagine Poppy Brad is going to be the idea here on the Nongshim side.
I think it'd be pretty good. I think D+ could go for like a Rel or Leona ban and then pick the other away if they really wanted to. Although I do feel like probably Rel is the one they would want. I think if you go Leona, Mirktreads just gets like insane value for D+, but I imagine they do want to go one of those engage supports.
Still think Bard would be an okay choice.
I assume Bard's going to be banned, though.
Yes.
Coming out from Nongshim here. They do ban away the Jax, though.
Just denying a bit extra Sejuani power there.
Yep. I wonder if they... And I also think just the Jax into, like, TF, into Jhin has value.
It's a very good option. I think Aatrox is going to be one of these picks that will be very considered as well between both of these teams. Kingen pretty good on that champion, and Xiu having a pretty fantastic performance on it more recently as well.
Not bad. Not even looking towards the Bard that we thought would prioritize, and it's just going to be the Leona.
Okay.
So Mirktread's value kind of crazy here for the side of Nongshim.
Showmaker and Beryl could both take their 2020 World Champion skins. And guess what? Showmaker's going to take his.
And Beryl won't take his.
He will definitely not. Cassante going to be locked in.
Okay, and then support for Lehens here. Lehens definitely a player who has been more varied with his support picks. I think you probably could just take Rel.
He is known to Nautilus. He is a deep sea diver at heart. Maybe it's a Maokai angle. Never mind, it's a Nautilus.
Yeah, I think definitely the pick he prefers.
It wasn't very, like, so far this draft for me has not gone the way I predicted.
Yeah.
You know, I've needed to cross out a couple of names, for example.
Yeah.
Xiu having a giggle.
Oh.
Thinking about just being a Viking.
It's actually such an insane Olaf angle, I feel.
Wait, isn't Viking a verb, actually? So he's a Norseman, and you can be a Norse Viking. You can go, like, I think they use it that way. I watched a weird Viking video on YouTube yesterday.
I feel like, you haven't watched that singular YouTube video, you're more of an expert than me. Who hasn't watched that video.
You did grow up closer to Scandinavia than I did.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Not any Vikings raiding the British Isles recently.
Not as but they were there.
Yeah.
You know, Ireland copped it. You know, and you like to claim that citizenship more than your other one. As Olaf will actually be the lock-in. We will have the Olaf versus Cassante on the top side of the map. Xiu with counterpick and putting it to work. We'll see whether it is going to work once again here for Xiu, having a fantastic day out on the Aurora, even though that was blind picked and still worked out. This time it's the Olaf. We'll see whether it is going to find the value here on the verge of a 3-0 to bring them to the playoffs. From Texas, cheering for Kingen there. And of course, Kingen finding a fair bit of success on American soil, you could say. 2022? There's world champions from 2020 and 2022, and one of them is from both. And so it gets a little bit confusing. But what isn't confusing is where we're going. We're going to Runeterra. It's time to get onto the Rift here. Game number 3.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift. Oh, Kingen. Okay, identifying their target here already.
I'm feeling, we started off feeling pretty positive about the Nongshim draft, but I'm feeling a little bit concerned that they're lacking in the damage department. A lot of CC on this comp, but they're playing into an Olaf, who tends to disregard the CC. And I think so much hinges on the fact that Calyx and Jiwoo need to be strong. If Calyx and Jiwoo are not strong, I think this game is just kind of over, because you have 3 tanks, you have a Ziggs who is quite bursty, and you have a Yone who kind of has to play around, the Unbound Soul.
Yeah.
And also has to be not really far behind.
Ooh, Lehen's actually just going to be barely out of the sweeper range, as a red card there from Showmaker just do some damage here to Calyx.
Yeah.
DK will be starting on the bottom side.
I will say that if you're going to have someone on like that pick where they need to be the carry, I think Calyx being on Yone is the right person.
Yeah.
But a lot rests on his shoulders this game. And especially when the enemy team, you have a high-tempo jungler with the Lilia who's already stealing away a camp, who's now looking mid to be...
Wait. Oh, it's the most annoying of ganks.
Yeah, I'm just going to harass you, but...
And he does a pirouette while he does it, which just feels even more frustrating because he looks like he's having such a good time making your life terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
annoying.
Yep.
But yeah, so I think D+ have a lot of advantages here, especially a TF who can snowball the game so heavily. I'm a little concerned for the side of Nongshim.
And it's Showmaker as well. Like he's known to be relatively all right at this champion.
They have pressure in all 3 lanes. You know, they have a high tempo jungler, pressure in all 3 lanes. If Olaf gets ahead, the game's probably going to be doomed. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, well, we'll see, because there was a strategy that Wolf coined yesterday, and it was the CCCU strategy.
Yes.
And as long as it's not the Olaf, that may still work.
But they do have this Olaf.
Yes. So, but I like to ignore my problems and hope that they go away. Much to the chagrin of most of the people around me.
That is the problem, is the Olaf does just run at you. And his ult just keeps going as long as he keeps hitting you.
Yeah. He's just gonna Ragnarok and roll towards the top side of the map. That's more of a pentakill skin angle.
Yeah,
we are bro laughing.
The craggy ice skin.
Yeah, this
classic.
Yeah. I just love it. The way he says bro as he just runs after you, makes your life hell. It's fantastic. DK starting off with a bit of an advantage. Largely, they will just have one naturally with this Twisted Fate. As Gideon doing stuff here towards the bottom side. Looks like it's Lahen's supporting him, getting up here towards the crab. As Bowling Ball going to connect, but with Lahen's in the area, should be a guarantee that this crab does go over to Nongshim.
They can honestly move mid, force Showmaker away, go for the topside scuttle as well.
Yeah. Going to show up. Showmaker does get himself out of there. The crab might just be a double, though.
Yep, and I mean, Calyx now is able to get a reset off the back of this as well, so it works out pretty good for Nongshim. Great use of that pressure. Actually, they don't opt to go for it. They want to cover these Raptors. They don't want to give Lucid second Raptors.
Yeah. As Shiu, oh dear, the Ghost has been popped, but Kingen finding some angles, and it's a solo for the Cassante! Shiu just getting outplayed. And that's also the smite going over to Gideon, gets the big Raptor as well as DK. All of a sudden they're behind.
Yeah, I mean, that is the best start you can imagine for Nongshim. This Olaf that we're coming out of draft so concerned about, this big issue that you were saying they should just ignore. King, you can just solo kill him. Apparently, he was getting a little bit too low in the health department, and at some point he just ran out of health.
Yeah, running out of health is often an issue that you run into, as Flash has to be burnt here by Showmaker. Lahen's picking up these summoner spells all over the place. It is Unsealed Spellbook that obviously the Twisted Fate does like to take. So not going to be as worried about it, but not going to have that Flash for another while.
And the thing is now, you go for a swap. I mean, we'll see how this play panned out.
Aha, so Shiu was already planning a back.
And the thing is, you're trying to spend so much time on low HP. I think the W usage from Kingen was so good buying time, and the minions did a lot of work there as well.
So many caster minions, it was so much damage.
Yeah, just so well played by Kingen there. And Shiu, I think you're playing a champion like Olaf, you feel strong in those scenarios. You think, yeah, I can take this. I'm low health. This is where I thrive.
Well, this is not great. Sidestepping a anchor is quite difficult, as Shiu going to be able to satchel him back. Undertow, let's see what Shiu can actually do as he does hit low health. Doesn't have flash, of course, but needs to land the Undertow fadeaway jump shot and goes underneath the bouncing bomb from just straight up losing a 1v1 to winning a 1v2.
How can things go from so good to so bad for the side of Nongshim, but on the other side, Shiwu is now just gaming. Didn't even have his ult available, now has it. You gotta remember the ult gives so much free stats as well. Not even when it's, you know, if you don't have it active, it gives you those extra resists. He didn't have that available and is able to find the play.
My God, that was absolutely incredible.
I was gonna say that this is a great scenario for Nongshim because Olaf in the swap, it's not where you want to be. You know, Kingen's fine here. He's into a Jhin, he's able to hold the wave, he's able to buy time. The Olaf can't really do much to a Ziggs. You know, you can just satchel away from him. You can play safe, you can play defensively. And then they overcommit. And yeah, that is pretty dire for Nongshim. Yeah. A big mistake. They push you right back into the game. And now they're looking for a bot side play.
Oh, the mega double teleport coming in here is aiming. Does get the heal for the extra movement speed from Beryl, but the satchel to bring him out. Beryl does have flash available, but the all-out is going to come on through. Beryl finally gets hit by that Q. Gideon, in the meantime, is taking down the Dragon, and Nongshim back on the horse.
Yeah, I mean, it's a proactive play. Swapping back down towards the bot side. Will secure them the Dragon, I believe. Lucius moving over, but I don't think he's going to be able to contest. I say that.
Oh, they're teleporting in for this one. It is Beryl.
Okay, Lehens needs to move. Oh no, oh no.
Oh god, the Destiny comes through. Showmaker turns up with no blue stuff at all. Lehens is dead. There is no way that he can get out. Even the bowling ball connects. Oh, and they can deliver this kill over to aiming as well. Dragon secured, and the kill goes over, and the pendulum, it do be swinging.
It's like Nongshim just cannot get good news. It's like genie wishes, right? Every time you're like, oh, I wish for this good thing to happen. And then there's always a twist.
Yeah, it's like the Little Mermaid, you know, and in the original story, she like has to give her voice away, and then when she's on the land, it just like feels like she's walking on nails the whole time, and all she wanted was to like just hang out with the dude on dry land for a day.
There's always some twist.
Yeah, always a twist.
It's always tragic. And that's really how this game is feeling right now. Every time something goes good, something ends up going bad. And I think, not respecting the chef a little bit, I think part of it was the fact he was low mana. I thought, hey, we can definitely do this. Speaking of being able to do things.
Well, they're going to try for the grubs because the Dragon worked out so well. As DK going to come on over and see whether they can contest. Lucid in the area, but it looks like Gideon might be starting off a fight. Bowling ball going white. The Cassante getting down here first, but the Olaf is in tow. Shiu just running in, presses the Ragnarok button. We'll see whether DK can actually offer him some assistance. He's now running, but he is going to die as Calix goes to sleep. Not a time for a nap, my friend, and he will be going down. Beryl surviving for so long with the Eclipse, but it's not actually going to achieve anything, and now aiming, running to the back of this pit, and I think he will have to flash to get himself out of the way. The Q is going to miss. He flashes eventually. Calix for 2 though, and the grubs going over to Nongshim. In fact, all 3 of them. I'd say it's another pendulum thing.
It is. I'm waiting for the twist in the tail to come through. Kingan's super strong at this point, 4-0, and
he has every kill for Nongshim.
Yeah, and at this point of the game, it doesn't really matter that it's 3 tanks who get left in this fight, because they still just have so much base damage. They can kind of just blitz through the members of D+. She ends up committing super heavily for Gideon for the Sejuani, but the Sejuani is still very tanky. Calix commits a lot of damage to finish off the Olaf. Has to swing back, ult on aiming. The sleep is only onto the Yone, and yes, they're clearing up, but then it's like, okay, Kingan's still full HP. No ult, but they just can't cut through him quick enough. Aiming doesn't have the damage, he's struggling to reload, dropping the bullets on the floor. He actually puts a full set of bullets into Kingan, and it just does no damage.
Just nothing at all. He is Jhin, and he is also aiming, playing Jhin. It's not necessarily the way that things work. Of course, it is just the champion.
I mean, also, just look at Kingan's items right now.
Yeah. Didn't have time to go to the shoe shop because he had too much money and too little time.
Yeah.
Kind of insane. He's only 800 gold.
You know
ahead.
what? He skipped leg day, right? He's all upper body items right now.
He even runs with his hands. He doesn't. He got gloves. Don't you worry about that. You can see them. They're big and blue, and ready to fight. Ignore the fact that the champion model doesn't, in fact, run with his hands. He's just going to get even more powerful when he decides to use his legs. It's okay. Nongshim now moving down towards his bottom side. It is a power of friendship type situation here, right? Like, Nongshim are sticking together and making things happen, as Kingan will be a force to be reckoned with. First item still coming on in here as the depth charge down onto Beryl. Lucid should be the target as everyone's getting sleepy. Solarflare connects onto Calix as he gets lit on fire and taken down. And without the Cassante here, Nongshim are just not that strong. And I don't know about that particular satchel. Gives a poor Beryl closer to Lehens. And in he goes, down goes Lehens. And he's going to be saying to you, next time, please do not move the Leona into me.
Yeah, bit of a scuffed engage there from Nongshim, not connecting onto the right targets, and D+ able to answer back again. You know, this lead, most of it is on this 4-0 Cassante who isn't there. I mean, it isn't even a lead for Nongshim anymore, but right now, this Showmaker 2-0 with the Rod of Ages in pocket, feeling very confident, and I think just Nongshim as soon as you whiff and engage like that, you're going to get punished for it. You can see, so Lehens goes for the ult, and I think the goal was hit barrel and get Lucid, but Lucid moves behind so he doesn't get connected on. The follow-up from Calyx doesn't connect.
Instant Destiny Gate as well.
Yeah, stuns him, CCs him, Calyx doesn't get to play the game. And sure, they do kill Lucid, but it's now, Jiwoo's got no cooldowns. Lehens and Gideon, they're just tanks, and they've used all their cooldowns. The satchel doesn't end up helping there. And it's hard to gracefully lose a fight against a Jhin. He just pops his ult and cleans up.
Not to mention, you know, Twisted Fate, Lilia especially, like, you're not running away from Lilia. She runs a little too fast. More legs than you, as it turns out.
And I think this is where I'm starting to feel a bit concerned, because even though the goal is close, so much of it's on Kingen, and Calyx is falling behind. And you need your Yone to be strong. You need your DPS to be strong, because Kingen, I don't think him being strong is going to be that useful. I mean, it's not bad, obviously, and it is helpful, but there's going to come a point in the game where he's just going to get CC'd and kited by D+, and if your Yone is not able to do damage and he keeps getting exploded, your comp is going to lack sustained damage. He is the only real sustained damage champion in your entire team comp, and he might just die again.
DK, they know their job, and their job is kill Calyx. And they do get the ulti out of him. He didn't have flash. And DK, I think, pretty happy with the fact that the ult's now on cooldown.
Now coming in.
Yeah, looking for the Dragon Hook going to come on through, but it's on to Beryl. Mega Inferno Bomb not going to find too much joy at all, as now Lucid spinning around, but doesn't quite find the value here, as now Calyx dealing with this Viking, who will be taking him down. Gideon going to be next on the menu, as Kingen being held in place here by Showmaker. You mentioned being kited, and that's exactly what happened. All of their money is just dealing with this guy trying to play poker.
Yeah, they didn't find a good angle to get Kingen in. He wasn't participating in the fight, so it just meant they didn't have the follow-up. Calyx ends up getting decimated, has to snap back into the Olaf space, and it feels like they get that initial target pretty easy.
Well, now you've got the Ragnarok coming on through here, as Kingen gets hit by an undertow, but I think she was just dead. Yep, the redemption going to be late once again. It was better timed than last time, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's still strong enough to do that. And again, Kingen's strong in a 1v1. It would have been great if he was able to participate in this fight, but he TP's here on a Showmaker and doesn't end up really making it to the fight. The engage comes in. They find Lucid, they explode him, but then the Yone ends up snapping back and just dies. Sleep hits 3, super high value, everyone currently in the fight, and then Jiwoo gets trapped in the pit, and the Olaf just runs at him. They don't have the damage to finish them off.
And then she moves towards the bottom side of the map before going back and buying any items. Of course, Kingen hasn't bought in a while as well, although obviously it's been relatively recent. Indeed, actually has the Merc Treads, which is what he just picked up, but gets 460 for that one. So that feels fantastic. Extra Giant's Belt now on the Cassante cannot feel too bad. But like you were saying, they need money on Yone. And DK, they are aware of that. They decide they want to kill Yone at every possible opportunity. The Rift Herald has now spawned. Showmaker tasked with dealing with Kingen, and I think that that is the right idea.
Yep.
Because Kingen has a lot of armor.
You can just hold him back, just keep comfortable space. He's not going to get solo killed by him like Xiu has been. And I think it's important to get money on the Yone, but also you need Kingen to be in the fights. If you're starting a fight, he has to be there, and it feels like they haven't really had that happen a lot in this game.
Well, Beryl taking a fair bit of damage, but now looking for an angle here as Xiu just going to be running into Gideon. Lands the axes, the Destiny comes on through, and Gideon is just dead. No chance to do anything at all. And Mega Inferno Bomb not going to be enough to grab that kill, as Calyx killing a Gromp.
Feels like one of those situations where they're hovering around, watching D+ take an objective, but they weren't really wanting to fight it. You know, they have the Yone in a side lane, they have the Cassandra in a side lane. I think it's a good call to use a side lane pressure, but if that's the case, don't be there to get caught. Gideon's death, kind of a freebie to the side of D+. And we do actually get feats of strength for Nongshim, so I think if Gideon hadn't died, I would have been happy to call that a good play.
Yeah.
But they're just too overextended, you know, and especially as a Sejuani, like greeding for the Heartsteel stack, there's no reason to die here. Could have queued more towards the tower, had flash as well. I think if you queued towards the tower, you would have been able to flash away from this, or maybe even just been safe. I don't think Showmaker would have ulted next to the tower and risk getting CC'd by Lehens. Either way, when you're trying to stall like that for your side laners, there's a limit to how close you can be, and I think Gideon just felt like he was tankier than he was, maybe.
Yeah, I would agree. I also think that, like, if the Cassante was this fed, but there was no Lilia, you'd also be feeling good. She just loves killing tanks.
Oh yeah, I think that's why the Lilia was such a good pick, because into all these melee champions, she obviously gets a ton of value. She's good into like these dive comps. She's also providing the AP damage that the TF doesn't always have a ton of sustained AP damage.
Yep.
I think if it was an AD jungler, then King would feel so much better at just stacking a ton of armor. He is going to have to pick up some magic resist later on.
Well, Beryl is going to try and pick up a Jiu, who is going to get slowed down. Bowling ball connects. The curtains have already been called as Lahans has to stand in front. Beryl takes a lot of damage from the Mega Inferno Bomb as Gideon standing in front, but the Deadly Flourish connects. Calyx does not, and Lucid is just pirouetting around the back of this team fight. Beryl has his health bar at 50. That's his comfort zone. And Calyx having to limp his way out once again. It is just Jiu that dies, but DK still with so much control.
Oh no.
Jiu is not afraid of very much at all, is he?
You can't recall for so long if the Bowling Ball hits or the passive of the Leandries.
Yeah. It is King and moving down, so that might be able to buy some space, but the time that this is given DK is certainly a big deal, as Calyx does at least get to clear out this next wave.
Yeah, and actually Jiu had a fantastic satchel in that play. Oh, they might be looking for Showmaker.
Yeah, King in.
He has Ghost.
Well, that is going to be a very, very fast Twisted Fate. Does find the gold card, and then...
Oh, nice knockdown.
Not going to be out of Destiny out of this one.
And Calyx gets the kill. Great news for Longshim. Nice pick up there. Good flank around by Kingen.
That's right in time for the Mountain Drake too.
Yeah, great time. I mean, he has TP. He is going to be dead for a while. I think they should be able to start it up, but it might be in time for D+ to contest it on the back end.
Yeah, there's like 15 seconds of time, you can say, but
still balanced.
Yeah, Zig's doing Zig's things, as it turns out.
Yeah, he's up in 13. They're going to be there to fight if they want, but they might be able to get the Dragon in time where they can deny Lucid access.
Well, Lich Bane also does come through, so that is a decent spike for the Twisted Fate as well, but this Dragon is going down so incredibly quickly. Shio on a ward. Lahens doesn't find the anchor. The teleport is going to come in, even if they don't get the Drake. They're committed to the fight. As Shio now in amongst it. Gold card already primed. As King in, the raid boss himself, but he cannot take that much damage. Still, Calyx gets into the back line. It's massive, and Kingen is even surviving. It's absolute insanity. They take down the magic damage dealers as Shio. I just don't think he's going to be able to do this one. He gets on top of Jiu, but he is going to get taken down. It's another couple of kills for Kingen, and the King of 2022 is back once again. 7-0-2.
Finally, they get the Cassante into the team fight. He soaks so much damage from D+. The Mega Inferno Bomb from Jiu is massive. And Nongshim get a big team fight win. They get the Dragon as well. Everything they wanted and more. Now with the unending despair, Kingen is going to be so hard to take down. We can see in this one, he's kind of just playing bodyguard here on the front line. Ends up pushing in, he gets CC'd for so long. And look how much damage he ends up soaking here. Hitting him for so long, he eats the redemption heal as well. Ults in, gets some on the Mega Inferno Bomb, so much damage.
And the Calyx just pulls them all together into the Inferno Bomb.
It was beautiful. And he soaked so much damage, you were just so much damage with him. Calyx, a lot of work as well. That's really what we wanted to see from Nongshim here.
Really is.
And now with a pretty convincing lead, they're going to be able to pick up the Atakan as well.
Looks like this snowball is really starting to roll as Mega Inferno Bomb to stop the split push here, as Showmaker having to even barrier to get to avoid taking too much damage from that tower. Still, Atakan is going to be taken here. Nongshim battling back. Showmaker will be able to take an outer turret in trade, but this inner is also in trouble as Kingen moves over. Remember, 3 grubs are in pocket here for Nongshim, and these turrets do not last very long at all. The rest of DK kind of leaving Shio to try and defend by himself and looking to see what else they can get around this map. Inner turret now for Showmaker is what he's looking for. But the wave clear, that's the problem. The tempo that you can gain is just massive as Showmaker looking for the angle. Solar Flare going to connect there as well as Jiu being punished. He will die. But what is going to happen on the other side? And the answer is aiming is very dead. That W flash was sick. and so is going to be able to hold Kingen in place for just long enough to escape. But now it's a very awkward fight. Lehen's caught off to the side, but does have Gideon playing bodyguard. His health bar, he's still burning, and Lucid does manage to grab that kill. As now Kingen going down so low, he flashes on top of Beryl, who immediately stuns him with that Shield of Daybreak, finds the max range on the Zenith Blade, and now into the back line they go. It is Lucid going down though, as now Calyx dives in and dies immediately, unceremoniously, and DK find the lead once again.
Oh, the monkey paw kills once again. Nongshim, whenever things go good, something ends up bouncing back in the other direction.
The pendulum!
The pendulum again! Jiu ends up taking this route round here. And Satchels to try and reposition, then doesn't have it here. I think there's a lot of safer routes you could have taken. Showmaker, great read, coming down with the Destiny to pick him off. And now they've lost so much of their damage without Jiu being available. And this fight is so scattered. This is perfect for D+, because they just start taking down the Hens. There's no real threat here. Kingen doesn't have his ult, so he's so much less threatening. Calyx isn't really able to do anything. Gideon splitting off.
Oh, aiming also hits Kingen with a deadly flourish, and then still has ult.
Yeah, there's so many things wrong in this fight for Nongshim. And it's just D+ finding a great window to punish, and Showmaker on this TF just finding a great window onto the Ziggs. Every time you see that Ziggs isolate low and you land that stun card, easy to get the follow-up. You know, Ziggs can be such a safe pick, so hard to punish, but you can just teleport next to him, throw a yellow card in his face. It's super punishing.
It really is. We're starting to see the gold lead become something pretty real. The gold lead for Kingen is still there, but it's matched now from Lucid in that jungle, as he has Leandri's and his Riftmaker both completed. Pretty important items for the Lilia as well, so feeling very happy about that. Certainly wants the arm guard done, but Showmaker as well, hitting that 3-item spike. If the rapid fire cannon comes in, that's going to be a big deal, but Xiu unable to do anything to Kingen. Beryl is going to come on over. The Redemption coming on in as Beryl looking to try and position so that he blocks any Glacial Prisons, but that's just a bouncy castle for Lucid, and I don't think he's going to be able to dance his way out of this one. Never mind, I tell a lie. He certainly can dance his way out of this one. It's fine.
Yeah, manages to evade that one just about. Getting a bit more bulky with some of the items that this Lilia has built. Does mean they won't be able to contest this Dragon. Obviously, Lucid trying to heal up off these camps and moving away. So, still a win for Nongshim overall.
Yep, Jonah Strong as well, not wanting to watch that cannon get missed. So, does immediately pan down to this Dragon that is going to get taken by Nongshim.
I think that's the thing, is it's still a favored game for Nongshim. I think we can definitely establish that. There is some weaknesses we talked about with their composition, but right now they are in a decent spot. They have advantages in terms of having
I think they win honest League of Legends. I think DK need to force weird League of Legends.
Yeah, which they are very good at doing. But I also just worry there's going to come a point in the game where they just doesn't work as well as anymore, you know?
Yeah. Well, Kingen might be bearing the brunt of that one, as there's the all-out onto Xiu, and Kingen, I just don't think he's going to be able to do anything about this. Does sidestep, and the undertows starting to come on through as soon as these axes land, but he's buying so much time. The Baron has been started. Showmaker with full information of what's going on here, and Nongshim don't have the damage to do this.
Yeah, they need Yone on it yesterday.
Yeah. And Calyx does get over there, but now the Baron has done a bit of damage. The flash forward from Showmaker onto Jiu does have the satchel. That's going to get him to relative safety, but the stun onto Calyx lasts for a year. The curtains have been called. Jiu having to play DDR and is going to be able to do so for now as he flashes to get himself out of the way. Another satchel to save his life. But it's not going to save Calyx. He's dealing with a guy with cards and a guy without. Deadly flourish! This is Aiming's best Jhin game of his life, by the way.
Oh, Calyx, nowhere to go.
No, he's like, my soul, it must return! And he kind of wishes that it didn't have to. As Showmaker will be able to finish him off here. It's going to take a little while. The wildcards are going to do it. And this is what we were talking about, the messy League of Legends. That's how D+ are going to win this game.
They're TPing in, but it's 3 tanks. Kingen has to do so much. He doesn't have ult available.
Yep, Showmaker is now going to make his way back in as well as Gideon is going to be the target. Can Kingen do it? He has the support of Baron as well, but he flashes away into the waiting arms of Showmaker as the Baron is also going to be taken. Well, Showmaker's dead because Kingen goes all out and kills him, but now he's on the wrong side of the map against a Baroned up DK. And Lucid doesn't land the bowling ball. Man, Kingen is actually, he's playing his heart out right now, but unfortunately, 1v9 is not often a way to win the game.
I think this is a problem. It's getting to the point where aiming, he has that LDR, he's starting to actually do damage to Kingen.
I mean, he's 3-0-12. Aiming is having an incredible game.
But you know, the CC that lands on the Jiwoo, even though he's able to survive this initial engage, he's not able to participate in the fight. He's so low. You know, the Yone gets chased away and he's just dead. And then even if Jiwoo didn't die here, I mean, he'd be able to TP back in. Maybe that'd stop the Baron.
Oh, he gets the...
Oh, the scrying into the flourish. He wasn't looking. But even if he doesn't, I mean, if he doesn't die here, I guess he TPs back in and he can stop this Baron. That could have been the difference maker, to be honest. And then Kingen has to try and prevent this. His ult isn't actually available yet when he goes in. He manages to solo kill Showmaker, but you just can't do enough on Cassante. You know, you're fed. You're doing so much. You're getting the kills in the 1v1.
I mean, you can't ask for more from Kingen in this
You really
game.
can't. I mean, Lilia just runs circles around you and does so much damage to you at this point.
And I mean, even that, man. It's a fair bit of damage. As you can see, D+, not exactly feeling stress-free. CV Max hasn't been there as long as Bengi. That's why Bengi looked very zen. He's like, I'm used to this. This is my life. CV Max is like, what's going on? It's okay. You'll get used to it.
7,000 gold lead for D+. That's really just ballooned.
3.2 of that is on this Lilia as well. 1.6 for aiming, who is absolutely massive on this Jhin.
They need picks. They need to catch and engage onto some key targets. Showmaker doesn't have Flash, but a lot of summoners available on other targets. Even Beryl has cleansed Flash, so...
Yeah. Like, there's 3 cleanses on this bottom side of the map.
Let's make it tricky.
Well, Showmaker now in position. They do have vision of the area. Wave clear for days, even with the Baron, as Calyx is going to try and move on over and does do a fair bit of damage to Xiu here, who's not necessarily the most fed Olaf, although he somehow has managed to find 5 kills this game. Hexplate is done as well, as people getting sleepy. There's the Solar Flare onto Xiu. They do get the redemption, get that health bar back up again. Kingen wanted none of that. It's like, no, I'm soloing this game. Not even allowed redemption assistance. As Xiu going to be able to clear up that cannon minion. And Beryl wanted to take the bouncing bomb, so he did.
Yeah, I'm going to lose his mid-tier too. Not really much Calyx can do to defend. He's trying to thin the wave. But you got to be so careful, because if you get tagged by Lucid, I guess you can trade the ult for the Lilton Lullaby. But yeah, Dragon going to be up and taken by D+. No real way to contest this right now.
Yeah, I do like the way that DK sort of played it, though. They ignored the last Drake. They let Nongshim take that one. They're taking fights where Nongshim are overextended and then punishing, right? They're not electing to go for setup on objective with all 5 people and then like try to take it. Like, that is not what this composition does. This composition catches you trying to do that and separates you and wins.
Oh, Showmaker has the fake full build.
Oh my goodness.
Where you got the Seekers and the Medjais, which are just like...
I mean, it's basically Zhonya's Medjais, right?
Yeah, it's basically like... Because, I mean, Medjais is so cheap, and he doesn't have the stacks yet to really make it like a full item, but it's just...
If you get 25 stacks, is it like almost comparable to like Rabadon's?
I mean, it's a ton of AP.
We could say that it's not quite Rabadon's, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty... It's a lot of AP. I mean... It's also... This is like TF full build, where he's like cheating you. He's like, yeah, I got full build.
Full build at 30 minutes, by the way, as it still doesn't do any damage to Kingen, as we can see here. Who does have Jack Shows now completed as well. So Goldcog going to connect. Now the kitchen sink is going to hit him, and it takes half of his health bar. He's getting tired, but I think he can dance all day, ladies and gentlemen. That's a very tanky boy. Does it mean anything for this turret? No. As they know that they need to kill Kingen, and he is the threat. And so that's what they're going to try and do. The bullets come on down. And this is without the Baron. but still able to siege up that turret quite nicely against a Ziggs, and that is a worrying sign for Nongshim.
Yeah, just so much pressure, such a huge gold lead right now, and you know, once the Ziggs is there, he can clear the waves, but he can't be in every lane at once, and I feel like D+ doing a good job of pressuring mid and bot at the same time. Rabadon's now secured for Jiwoo, so pretty big spike. We often see this Horizon focus second. This item's kind of mid, if I'm going to be honest, but it has a lot of AP. It has a lot of AP. It doesn't have the damage boost anymore, but it's a lot of AP and it's very cheap, so it's not the best second item, but it means you get your Rabadons quickly and have a lot of AP to back it, so he does now have a strong 3-item spike. So Jiwoo should be hitting. The problem is there's like Seeker's Arm Guard on Showmaker, there's Zonya's on Lucid, there's a lot of flashes available. It's actually full Zonya's on Showmaker, so you just need to connect on the right targets. If you get that engage, if you get that Ziggs ult, he's now level 16, it will do a lot of damage, but if you miss the engage, if Stasis eats all that damage, you're going to feel so bad as Nongshim, and you don't get many more chances in this game, in this series, in this year.
No. This last chance saloon, they have to win from here. Every single game, everything. And they are down 9.5k gold on the verge of being swept cleanly by DK. The team, even before they made it to the Legend Group, a team that I think a lot of us did kind of think were in better form moving into the split. But man, I didn't quite think the gap was this large. DK also utilizing momentum of their victory from yesterday as well. I think we've spoken about this a fair bit. It's happened with like third place matches as well.
They picked up the momentum.
The lower bracket going into the final and things like that, that has been pretty good for a lot of our other teams. DK utilizing that, and yeah, the momentum's certainly there. No one's there to collect the bro tax. Maybe it now just goes straight to DK. We don't know. We don't know where it's wired. As, all right, Lucid looking for a bit of an angle here as Kingin did want to find something. Calix gets a knock up onto Shiu, but he's not feeling too worried about that one. Solar Flare not doing too much. Showmaker pulling the trigger. They haven't really found a full commit yet. As Gideon wanting to get a Glacial Prison. Pretty split on the DK side as the sleep does come down. Doesn't get a massive amount of value as Jiu taken down so incredibly low, but the bowling ball is going to miss. No one dead just yet. But this Ziggs is so low, and he's so important to get things done.
Okay, he can recall, he can TP back in. It looks like Kingan's going to take the same approach.
All ults available here for Nongshim.
Yeah, they got some big ults from D+. As much as that looks super scary, I think it's ultimately a good thing for... Wait, the TP! Jiwoo's TPing into a dangerous spot. I'll see if they can punish.
Yeah, thankfully, Kingan is there to play bodyguard. Deadly Flourish comes in. DK do not manage to punish, but you're right, unnecessarily scary, I would say.
Yeah, a little spooky.
As all right, let's see whether this Baron is going to work out. Nongshim feeling strong with their ult advantage. All flashes available as well as Showmaker on a ward. The curtain call comes through. They are softening them up as Beryl gets on in there. Shiu just wandering towards the backline as they dive on top of aiming. He survives for a little while longer, but it doesn't work out. Still Shiu is dead as Lucid trying to survive. Shiu can't get it done though, and Showmaker sort of the last bastion of hope, but the Baron will be secured. And Kingan doesn't find the Q. Lucid runs so fast, you're just not going to be able to catch up to Bambi. And DK get out with 2, but the Baron is done for Nongshim in exchange for just the Ziggs.
Calix comes in clutch on that one. He has TP. He's going to try and get here in time to stop the soul being taken. Gideon's running over. Both junglers still have smite here. They need to make their way through if they want to prevent this. Gideon going to try heal up off this camp.
Yeah, not going to be able to take the dragon. DK pendulums and stuff.
So they managed to find aiming in this one. She was coming on a flank as is Showmaker, so it's super I feel like we're not going to have time for this replay. But as it's going through, Jiwoo and Showmaker on flanks. Jiwoo was in an uncomfortable spot in the pit, but this Calix ult onto aiming finds him.
Oh, sick.
Follow up from Gideon. He's dead to the Unbound Soul. Beryl also goes down, and he comes back, snaps back, finishes off the Olaf as well. He does so much work there. We said the Yone needed to be big. And boy, was he huge in that fight. Now has a Mercurial Scimitar.
And now has a gold lead.
Yep.
That's actually insane because of the massive shutdown that he picks up. Like, that was 700 gold sitting on top of aiming. So that's 1,000 that he picks up from killing him alone. And that is a huge deal here because you mentioned he's the main character. Yes, Jiu will do a lot of damage but he will always be the target. He will be what DK are looking for.
I also think
and Calyx needs to capitalize.
It's so hard to punish this Yone with the Unbound Soul that can obviously dodge CC, with the Mercurial Scimitar, with the ult as well that can buff the CC, in comparison to the Ziggs, who is just dying in a lot of these fights. And Jiwoo's goal is do as much damage as you can before you die. That is all Calyx.
Oh, he's gonna ult. Oh man, that was so close to not making it out. Wasn't tagged by anything, so the Deadly Flourish gets no stun. And Nongshim continuing the push towards his top side of the map.
Wait, this is with the Ziggs as well. They can take this so fast.
Yeah, they certainly will. Lehens may die for it, as she was wrapping around wanting to pick up these minions, as Lehens wants to redeem himself. And does manage to get that health back, but that last bullet is going to be enough. They're just racing to end this game. As Kingen is on these turrets, they need to keep that minion alive as the flash forward from Showmaker. He's not tagged. Jiwoo going to get taken down unceremoniously again. And Kingen is now the target. He goes all out, but he may be all out of options as Showmaker will survive. And it's a double for the Olaf. Oh, the base race was a bridge too far here for Nongshim. Still maybe the right choice, to be honest, and the Rebel Baron power play tells me still worth.
Yeah, a little bit maybe of an overstep, and now it's looking like D+ going to try and end the game. It's 13 seconds, it's a small wave. Calyx's ult is coming up soon. I think they give up the inhibitor, and then Calyx will try and ult the wave to clear it, and I think Jiwoo should be up for the second wave. It's just this small wave here. They should be able to get rid of this. It's 3 members against 5. I think they should be able to handle this. Gideon has smite as well for the cannon.
Yeah, they just don't have enough minions.
Yeah, it's gone.
As Beryl's still going in. I wouldn't recommend it. He is going to try and make his way out. The ulti collects 2 of them. Beryl is going to go down as Calyx somehow survives. It was so close to them picking it up as the Mega Inferno Bomb is going to be picked up. Super there, and Minion still here. The Nexus is exposed and Lucid. He goes gold in the Lich Bane from Showmaker. And we told a lie. DK just walk up and win the game.
Heartbreaking end for Nongshim. They saw the Nexus towers, but it wasn't quite enough. D+ hold strong. They bounce back. They go for the end. They get the 3-0, and they continue their journey. They will be going to playoffs. They will have a chance to continue that streak of attending Worlds.
We'll see whether they can make it. There are still a lot of very difficult opposition to take down. And it's a 3-0, so I think we have to say convincing. But I still just don't know. I imagine Chronicler is on the space right now, and spoiler alert, he will be an anxious wreck in this one, as Dan deliberating, trying to figure out a POM. Not entirely sure where it's going.
Man.
Ion's waiting. Wants to pick up that card because she needs to deliver it so that we can tabulate the votes.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Think faster. Showmaker, it's Showmaker. Just do.
I'm thinking fast as I can.
Is it Shiu? Is it just Lucid?
I think it could be.
I think you just put a cross or a tick over mid and jungle and get them to figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe do that. Do you want me to ask Twitch chat? As we're praying once again. Is Showmaker. Let's see what Twitch chat is saying. All right, while you deliberate, I do want to say I absolutely loved the interaction between Aiming and Lehens, Aiming with a bit of a giggle as they hugged one another, of course, former teammates. Kingen as well, Kingen and Beryl, sharing an embrace there as they did both hoist the trophy together in 2022. A lot of crossovers between these two teams, a lot of knowledge between the two. And man, Kingen was such a beast in this game. And this is the last we're going to see of Nongshim. I still think Kingen stock's pretty high. I'm still feeling pretty good about the Kingen stocks.
I think the solo laners in general should be really proud of themselves. I think Kingen in this game in particular had a pretty proper performance, but also Calyx, you know, it didn't start off super easy for him. Had some rough skirmishes, but he bounced back in a big way. And I think in general, Calyx in the Akali game as well, that game was really about him.
It was.
I think considering especially he is the rookie of the team, did as much as he could in game 1 and really bounced back in game 3 to try and make this one happen. It feels rough when you're on the receiving end of a 3-0, but I think definitely in this game, and even in game 1 as well, there was a lot of moments, and even in game 2, where they bounced back. It was very clear that Nongshim were trying as much as they could to keep themselves in it, but at the end of the day, D+ were just the better team, and not without their faults, and certainly something they'll have to look at when they go into playoffs where there is going to be some fierce competition to make it into that top 4, but this is the D+ we know. They are never a faultless team. They are never a flawless team.
And don't
I think
try
that's their charm.
Don't try to kill Nexus turrets when Shiu is alive.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just what it is. He's now, like, obviously had more teammates with him this time around, but my goodness.
I think it's hard to say. I think maybe should have waited for the next wave before going in and focused on the next wave. Because I think they used a lot of cooldowns on champions here, and then Calyx was low. It's so. I feel like you can go back and you can look in a VOD and you can break down the step-by-step of a base defense in that moment and say this is what everyone should have done. But in the moment, it's really hard to say.
What? I guess Shiu was hitting Kingen a lot that game, but how did he do that much damage?
Yeah.
I didn't see that much.
It's crazy because I actually think this was such this was a game Olaf could have absolutely 1v9'd and it would have been the easiest POM ever.
Yeah.
And Shiu, I'm not gonna lie,
just kind of ran into them a couple of times.
Yeah.
And Lucid is going to pick up player of the match. I think it was him or Showmaker. I don't really mind.
I personally think Showmaker wins play of the match for the Realm Warp into the shovel. That was
100%.
By far, for physical comedy, I think that one deserves an award because there's a lot of players who are fantastic at League of Legends in the LCK, but not every player is so funny in a way that Showmaker was with that play. And that really, you know, you can be very good at League of Legends. He's also just very funny because that one really tickled me.
Yeah, I mean, Showmaker, it's about showmanship, and he definitely demonstrated that. It was an incredible play. Oh my goodness. I think Lucid almost gets the POM purely because of that incredible kick play towards the end of game 2. I think that was unbelievable.
Yeah, I think Showmaker's Orianna was fantastic, but Lucid was also great in the Jarvan in that game. The Lee Sin, he started really well, and the kick finished well, even though there was some
it's following mid-game,
following his body in the mid-game. And the Lilia, he was also super far ahead and getting some great sleeps, you know. I feel like the duo of Showmaker, Lucid was doing so much today, like the stun card and a sleep or the sleep and a stun card was delivering time and time again. Jiu not having a fun time into that.
He certainly wasn't. And to be perfectly honest, Nongshim's bottom lane didn't have the greatest of times today. I do want to focus on the positives, though. DK, I think, shoring up a lot of the issues towards the bottom side of the map. Beryl even having an overall positive day today, I would say. His Karma has generally been good, but the Rakan was actually amazing. Finding a lot of fantastic Ws that were even flashed into because of positioning, things like this. Was really well played.
You know, it's hard to put D+ are a team who I think over the course of this year, there's been a lot of times people have been a bit tentative about putting a ton of faith. This series, if anything, should inspire a good amount of faith, right?
Yeah.
And there's obviously a lot of strong competition ahead, but you know, if you're gonna make a statement series, a 3-0 is a good way to do it.
Yep, I'm so confident. I really don't think they're going to lose to Nongshim ever again this year.
You know, I would agree with that.
There we go. That's about as concrete as I'm going to get.
But I don't think they're gonna beat Bro again this year.
Oh, that's a really good
point. I don't think Gen G are going to beat Bro again this year.
Yeah.
They haven't beat Bro in months, so...
I mean, if we look at the overarching storylines, Gen G are actually the biggest winners with the fact that Bro were taken out yesterday. But now we will have a team interview very, very soon with all of DK, as you can see on your screen right there. And I think that there will be a lot of questions. I think one of the most important ones is about draft and about coaching strategy, because I think that we've seen the, I guess, mental fortitude of these players improve, actually, over the last couple of matches. And I don't think that was what a lot of us were expecting, because as the pressure rises, we've seen Shiu and Lucid kind of crumble, especially more recently. Didn't happen today.
Yeah, I think as well, even in individual game, I think the Olaf is a funny one, because like, you could have seen him struggle a bit in that with how it went, and I think he bounced back decently well, because I would have been tilted if I had so killed there.
Yeah, me too. But now it is time for the interview. Let's get into it.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Dear for the full team interview translation with the winners of the final round of the play-ins, D+ Kia. Please welcome Shiu, Lucid, Showmaker, Aiming, and Beryl.
네, 먼저 시우 선수와 인터뷰 나눠보겠습니다.
First off, let's talk to Shiu. The legend group 5th place, Nongshim Red Force, had nothing on you guys as you defeated them to head over to the playoffs. How do you feel? You know, against Nongshim, we had such a crucial match today, and winning is just such a huge relief. I think I'll just come back stronger and well prepared for our next match. And in game 3, as your last pick, you picked Olaf. And the camera actually caught you smirking. So what mindset did you have to pick him? I just felt like in the best of fives, you know, our coaching staff told me and instructed me that I should actually practice some Olaf. And I think we saw an angle for game 3, but I don't think it went as well as I expected. I feel a little regretful. And after your debut this year, you're going to your first playoffs. So how excited are you? You know, next match, I just really want to keep on going. I feel like Shiu is getting better and better at doing interviews. Please give it up for Shiu. And Lucid against Nongshim today. Did you expect such a one-sided victory? I think our team is great. I thought we would be able to win as long as we show up with our average performance. You know, following the last match, you are the POM once again. Seems like you had great synergy with your team, and over time, you know, we can feel that your form is elevating. So what did you do to make this happen? In game, you know, not only Shu but everyone else makes it so easy for me to play out the game. So I think that's what really enables me to play well. And what is your mindset for the playoffs? I think we just clawed ourselves up to make it to the playoffs. And in the playoffs, I want to make sure that we can do our best and show our best performance. You know, you got a POM and you got to go to the playoffs. So is there any ceremony that you can show us? Congratulations once again. Thank you. And Showmaker. You know, D plus Kia since the LCK promotion had never missed the playoffs. And you made it yet again. So how do you feel? First of all, I think since our team has always made it to the playoffs, it just felt a little strange, and we just learned how difficult it is to start from the rock bottom, and I'm just really glad that we're able to make it. And after the last win against OK Saving Swing, Brian, you were doing a praying pose for your ceremony, and we could tell how badly you wanted to make it to the playoffs. So can you tell us how desperate you were and why? You know, in my mind, the only thing on my mind was, you know, that it's the end if we lose, and I just really wanted to not miss the playoffs. And since the LCK was split in groups, there's a lot of talk about being either the head of the dog or a tail of a lion. So did you prove yourself as the head of the dog? You know, we were against the tail of a lion today. And I guess being the dog, I think we did pretty well for being a dog. And now in the playoffs, the only remaining teams, most of the teams will be the Legend Group teams, so we'll just have to do our best. And now that you made playoffs, you need to climb higher. So what mindset do you have? You know, we were just so desperate. Our whole team really want to repay our fans' support by playing and performing well. And aiming, you took the last ticket for the playoffs. How do you feel? Yeah, it feels amazing to win. And even greater and better that we were able to go to the playoffs. You know, the bot matchup being the key was today's general consensus. So in today's matchup, what did you try to prioritize? I feel like every lane really mattered a lot, and so I tried to focus on winning my lane. there's a news. It looks like T1 has selected D plus Kia, and you guys will meet T1 against in the playoffs round 1. Did you expect that? You know, in the end, we'll just have to win. So no matter who our opponent is, we will face them with confidence. And so for T1, what do you have to say? As much as you guys picked us, we'll try to win. We look forward to some spicy plays by D plus Kia. Beryl, you have advanced to the playoffs. How do you feel? You know, this was the elimination match. And that 3-0 feels amazing. And in an interview before today's match, you mentioned that against Nongshim, you cannot fall behind the top, mid, and support matchup. So did you think that you stuck with the plan today? You know, for other lanes, the rest of the lanes, even when they were starting off in a bad matchup, I think we did a really good job today in general. And so you will face T1. What mindset will you play? You know, when it comes to T1, they've been playing exceptionally well from rounds 3 to 5, and I think we just have to be at the top of our form to defeat them. Thank you very much, Beryl. And lastly, as the team captain, Showmaker, so many fans had your back today. What would you like to say to your fans? Thanks to all of your support, I think we were able to win so convincingly. And now that we are against T1, I want to make sure that we are well prepared so that we can pull off another victory. And that's the end of the interview with D plus Kia. And back to the space. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear, for those fantastic translations. Again, the tail of the lion or the head of the dog. And it looks like it was heads over tails. That was a good one, man. Congrats! It is a D plus victory, 3-0. Look at this man, everyone. How could you be mad at this result when you see how beaming that smile is right now?
He's so happy now, no?
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
We're not done yet. We're not done yet. I say we. I have contributed exactly 0 to DK being good again. Or at least, I think they have gone back to kind of where they were when we ended up with the Legend Rise group system, right? Where they still have some of the goofiness, even in this game and in this series. We saw it even in game number 3. But I think for a lot of the year, that also came with them not really looking any good creatively. And I think that spark, at least in this series, was back.
But I told you, you know, as a pro player perspective.
Yes, you did.
Losing
you
streak
knew.
is not gonna help anything, you know. Even though you're a pro player, yes, you get paid to play video games, but it's still like it's full of struggling, right? Like if you're losing every single game, you can't really get anything out of it. So it feels just sad, you know. I mean, I'm happy that DK is back now.
Yeah, let's dive into D Plus's success. Also, we will be joined by Showmaker.
Woo!
Showmaker on the space here in just a little bit, so hang around. POM time. Let's take a look at the votes and how it all shook up. Yeah, Soup and Chichijik tried to get the Showmaker thing going, but Lucid's Lee Sin, we were worried that maybe people would forget how dominant that performance was.
Well, it's also because his Game 3 performance wasn't as much. I think actually, funnily enough, when you look at particularly Game 3, I think Showmaker's pressure was what ended Nongshim's chances, as I obviously have been part of the Lucid fan club since the beginning. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And I think that last year at Worlds, DK made it under pretty rough circumstances with the continuous rotations. That was his first internationals. I just want to see him have a chance of redemption. I know he can do a lot better.
Yeah.
I've been talking up this jungler, and that's still very far ahead, right? They need to beat a ton of opponents to get there. But the belief, the hope is there.
Yeah. I just really like his playstyle in terms of the champion pool. Falling in love with Lucid is totally natural. Right, Digon? Do you agree?
All right.
Caught off guard for that one.
Yeah, I was a little caught off guard. I mean, I was trying to get the questions ready, whatever. Yes, it's natural. Whatever you want. Whatever makes Wadid happy. The Wadid redemption arc continues on. Here's Ox's comment. This is a jungler determined to go to Worlds. That is a fact.
And all these comments are obviously about Lucid. I do love that it's the top side, because that for me today was the biggest difference maker, right? Even Shio got a vote, and I think that King was clearly the best performing member, but Shio has also really struggled, particularly when the pressure was on. And I think that he was actually really good in every single game here today, even though the Olaf obviously, you know, it's a bit bumpy, but I feel like that happens with Olaf. You know, it's more so about the impact you can make in the fights, as opposed to just having a clean KDA, because you are just going to kind of run it down.
Here we go. This is our one and only one from the Korean side. Prince going with D+'s win plan, trust Lucid.
I mean, they're just hiding their winning plan, right? There are more, for sure. Like the second and third.
Are there?
The first one is trust Lucid. And I think the second one and third one is going to come later on.
Later on?
Yeah.
I would do in parentheses and showmaker, and then I think that's perfect. That's a plan.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we have plan 2 or whatever plan number it's going to be standing by right now. Joining us on the space is none other than world champ. It is Showmaker. Let's make some noise. Woo! 반갑습니다. 축하합니다. Sorry, I said the wrong word.
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. Thank you for joining us, Showmaker. Congratulations on your victory today, and welcome to the desk. It was a dominant victory today. How did you fix the issues you had earlier in play-ins?
영문 분석 데스크에 오신 거 환영합니다. 그리고 오늘 정말 압도적인 경기력으로 승리를 쟁취하셨는데 좀 이전 경기들에 비해서 훨씬 더 깔끔한 경기력으로 돌아오셨는데 어떤 부분을 좀 보완하고자 노력했나요?
이제 좀 저희가 경기 준비할 텀이 되게 짧다 보니까 그냥 뭐 크게 저희가 했던 플레이들을 보완하기보다는 컨디션 관리에 집중했던 것 같은데 오늘 다들 선수들이 잠을 잘 자고 와서 이길 수 있었던 것 같습니다.
So we didn't have enough time to prepare anything because it was kind of short-term bracket. So we didn't really specifically prepare anything, but we mainly focused about our conditions, and I think we had a good sleep last night. So that's why we had a great performance here.
Definitely had a great performance. You didn't fix all the issues. If we have the replay ready of one of the plays, we just wanted to know.
What happened?
여기서 도대체 무슨 일이 일어난 거예요?
라이즈 저 순간 기억이 안 나가지고.
I don't remember. I don't remember what happened.
Oh no!
I don't remember. No.
I guess it didn't happen. It's fine.
Yeah, it didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Fake news.
Yeah.
So Showmaker, the meta nowadays is very much about team fights. I think that one of the big difference we've seen is particularly you and Lucid in the fights today were a lot more in sync than you've been before. What do you think has been the most important thing in the current meta when it comes to the team fights?
요즘 메타가 정말 한타가 너무 중요하다고 생각되는데 특히나 루시드 선수와 쇼메이커 선수의 그런 싱크, 정말 완벽한 호흡 같은 게 좀 많이 나왔다고 생각을 하는데 요즘 한타에서 뭐가 좀 가장 중요하다고 생각하세요? 뭐 사전 셋업이라던가 아니면 뭐 스펠 유무라던가 좀 어떤 게 제일 중요하다고 생각하세요?
이제 요새 좀 오브젝트 한타가 많이 나오는 편인데 좀 사이드 운영보다는 많이 나오는 편인데 이제 그 한타에 있어서 이제 5명 모두가 각자 그 맡은 역할을 얼마나 잘 수행하는지가 제일 중요한 것 같아서 저희 팀에서는 이제 그 챔피언에 따른 역할이 있잖아요. 그거를 서로 얘기를 많이 하는 것 같아요.
So I think, I agree that the main meta is all about the team fight more about the team fight. I think it's really important to talk about what you can do as whenever you have the champion, you have to talk about what you can do with that champion. And I think we are mainly focusing about communicating about the role that we can do in the team fight. And that's what we are actually working on. And that's why we had a great team fight today.
Yeah, I think it's been very noticeable. Again, particularly in the stable form that you've had thus far. Also, you mentioned yesterday something that I found really funny in the interview is that you didn't feel any pressure, even though obviously You've been able to make it to Worlds every year, and yesterday was an elimination series just like today. But you also said that today one team was going to die. Does it mean that there was more pressure today, or was it kind of the same?
어제는 부담감이 없다고 하셨지만 오늘은 한 팀이 죽을 것 같다라고 하셨잖아요. 그 말은 오늘 경기에 좀 더 큰 부담감을 안고 경기에 임하셨다는 뜻인가요?
네, 좀 이제 근데 사실 좀 부담감보다는 그냥 하면서 재밌었던 것 같아요. 이제 좀 뭔가 지면 진짜 끝이니까 약간 어제 이제 그 불이온 상대로 이겼을 때 뭔가 도파민이 좀 평소보다 더 돌더라고요. 그래서 이제 에이밍 선수랑 얘기하면서 재밌다. 내일도 잘 이겨보자. 더 재밌을 것 같다. 뭐 이런 얘기 나눴던 것 같습니다.
So I mean, I don't think it's a pressure. If you lose, you're doomed anyway. So like I think I was having fun, you know, and I talked to Aiming about this and like, oh man, it's actually enjoyable, you know, it's actually so fun. And when we actually won against Brion yesterday, I felt a lot of dopamine in my feelings. So yeah, we just tried to have fun on the Rift.
Well, one thing that is very fun are your celebrations. You have your own celebration with the showmaker pose like this, but also you do it a lot from football, soccer. And so we kind of wanted to know, what is your favorite football celebration?
쇼메 선수 또 세레머니로 유명하시나요? 본인 세레머니도 있고 또 여러 축구 선수들의 세레머니를 많이 하시는데 어떤 세레머니가 좀 가장 마음에 드셨었나요?
뭔가 제가 여태까지 했던 세레모니들 중에서는 이제 손흥민 선수 이제 찰칵 세레모니가 제일 인상 깊었던 것 같아요.
So yeah, from my ceremonies, I think Sony's signature pose. Look at that. Yeah, I think that's my favorite one.
That's good. Well, help us judge a couple of the best ceremonies from this week as we take a look at the best ceremonies from play-ins here for our victorious players, because we had a decent amount and maybe a familiar person that you might see on there. First one, Calix, dropping us with the Digon Fact of the Week pose. He's a big fan.
Showmaker is considering what's the best here.
Vikla.
Just a double thumbs up.
Yeah, double thumbs up, double peace sign. 누구예요?
Praying.
Very good.
Good ceremony. Good ceremony. Oh yeah, he's reacting to his ceremony.
Let us know who you think is the best in chat. We have a biased judge here as well.
Actually, I want to ask, because as a caster, watching yourself back always is really awkward. Is it awkward watching your own ceremony back?
캐스터 입장에서 사실 막 자기 방송 모니터링하면 되게 이상하거든요. 이 느낌 이상한데 좀 본인 세레머니 보면 좀 약간 어색하신가요?
너무 부끄럽고요. 네, 부끄럽습니다.
I feel so shy.
Well, finally, here in the space, we have Chronicler Sunsu. I guess not Sunsu, but Chronicler, the biggest D+ penny예요. Biggest. 너무 penny예요. He even owns the Showmaker plushie. Right, you see that? Showmaker plushie. He's leaving this year and hoping you make it to Worlds. Do you have any kind words for him?
크로니클러 캐스터가 진짜 DK 팬인데 이제 LCK를 떠나거든요. 5년 동안 중계하다 이제 떠나는데 꼭 제발 이번 롤드컵이 본인 마지막 중계라고 꼭 롤드컵 같이 가자고 하는데 그에 대고 한마디 해주실 수 있나요?
무조건 진출하도록 하겠습니다.
We are gonna make words. 100%.
And then finally, any words to the fans watching around the world that love you so much and have watched you every single year?
전 세계 여러분들이 많은 분들이 이제 쇼메이커 선수와 DK를 응원하고 계신데 그분들께 한마디 해주실 수 있나요? Thank you, thank you.
Let's go! DK, let's go! DK, let's go! Showmaker, 감사합니다. Thank you very much for your time here on the space. Congratulations on your win. A huge victory here as we take a look at the results. A clean 3-0, nothing to see here for D+ Kia. They move on to the playoffs and their 2025 continues on. And for Nongshim, we do have to spend a little bit of time on the opposite side. There were highs here, but ultimately fall short of their goal.
It is telling, right? And obviously the sample size is small, but I think as Woodid was highlighting, one of our big questions was always going to be what's better? Being, even though DK by the end didn't really feel like the top team in the Rise group, they were still towards the top, right? or the bottom team in the Legend group. I do think that also when we look back at where the power levels of the team was, even though Nongshim qualified first, I think even going towards the tail end of the season felt like it was more them being really good in the early season versus later. But that's going to remain a talking point because I feel like everything that made Nongshim good, we didn't really get to see. It was, I feel like only Kingen actually showed up in peak form today. We had like Calyx glimpses of it in game 1, but that was about it. And that's kind of a sad way for this team to go out.
But the thing is, now DK's facing against T1. And I think that's going to be really rough match. And I wonder if they can actually manage to like kind of scratch T1 out because like they have their own style. And now they're back with the performance. So I'm just wondering if they can actually make it out.
Yeah.
So we're going to see it soon.
Going to be very, very exciting to see what that one looks like as we take a look at the predictions for today. Remember, some people didn't think on that side. Jonas Strong, 3-0 Nongshim? Wait, hang on. Well, let's walk all the way over to the thing. It's
by the way, like someone said Jonas Strong is good at prediction.
Jonas Strong?
Jonas Strong? Good at prediction? Ha, nice joke.
Can't even defend himself.
God.
Poor guy. It's okay, Jonas Strong. Sometimes you take a gamble. Don't let these mean bullies get to you. Oh, so
kidding. We love Jonas Strong. Jonas Strong is great.
Not gonna go bowling with you again if you act like that.
I'm kidding, Jonas Strong.
You're just
Mr. 300, perfect games only. All right, let's take a look at the bracket now, updated with the completion of play-ins, the first ever play-ins here in the LCK. After that long season, we have our two teams that make it on through. None of them say bro, which makes me a little sad, but BNK Fearx D+ already.
And this is just the ramp up. We have playoffs ahead, which is another double elimination bracket, which I just love. That is so cool.
That's
Look at that!
Like, you could see it from Showmaker's face, right? Like, he's happy with the victory, but also...
Job's not done.
Yeah, job's not done. There's so many things you have to work on right now. And now you're facing against T1. And if you win against T1, you have to play against Genji. So it's like, there's so many things you have to work on. So now the real battle begins here.
Yeah, and with that selection, it also means KT against BNK Fearx.
Oh!
Like, I don't know anymore, because we were calling D+ the head of the dog, but really, BNK Fearx finished in front of D+ in play-ins.
The dog with two heads.
It's two heads? It's
yeah,
a two-headed
dog with two heads.
All right.
The Kerberos.
Going full Cerberus?
Yeah, I guess we're going Cerberus.
I want to highlight, this is the one where I think, even if DK have a good showing, it will be more them getting games, not them winning the series. That would be a huge performance and a really big upset, given the form that T1 has been in. But KT versus BNK is actually so interesting, because I feel like the best part for BNK has been their bot lane,
for sure,
as well as the performance of Raptor and Clear, and then Vikla is more try and keep him alive.
It's fine, he's gonna play any.
He's gonna play against BDD, who is the strongest part of KT.
Woo! Over in Challengers as well, Nongshim and DNF still alive there, playing their way on into Genji, already waiting in the finals. It has been a heck of a season in Challengers as there's the playoff bracket on in. DRX, BNK Fearx, KT dominant still, and T1
you know,
picking the team.
I've already been slacking. Maybe it's time to bring it back.
Ramping it on up.
Get some challengers in there.
Get some challengers, baby. How can you say challengers, baby, when you're, you know?
Well, I did do it for 2.5 years.
That's true.
So that earns me the right, I think.
All right.
And you know what?
That was a very clear answer.
Still have Rise Group. That's fine. We still have Rise Group. So in spirit, there's still 2 Rise Group teams, everyone. We don't have to worry. There's still BNK.
Rise Group,
still
baby.
DK. And they're going to bring those Rise Group spirits. They're the, what is it, underdogs?
Yes.
Trying to take down the overdogs.
The overdogs. We'll see. Let's see if T1 and KT get pulled into some culture with Rise Group action. Y'all, that does it for the first ever play-ins. It is D+, it is BNK Fearx. Moving on into the playoffs. 6 teams left for the opportunity to go to Worlds here in the LCK. We'll see how it all shakes out next week. On behalf of everyone here, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week for more LCK.
2025 LCK Playoffs, the final gateway to the grand finals. Through countless battles and heartbreaks, now here they stand. Sometimes, victory slipped through their fingers, and yet they still return to this stage fueled by unbroken resilience. Because the goal is right in front of them. Too close to let go. The reward for bitter patience, the relentless grind, they have to take it themselves. The last stage before the grand finals. The 2025 LCK Playoffs begins now.
What doesn't kill me makes me stronger.